Good evening, everyone. How are we all doing? The Cherries suffered their first defeat on the road, and Cherries Red Army, we also suffered our first watch-along loss. But just like the 1,500 Cherries fans that have travelled up to Millwall this evening, we're going to get behind the boys on this watch-along, and we're trying to get back to winning ways, both here and on the field at the Den. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you also hit that like button at some point during the video. We're trying to get to 50 likes this evening, and it does help with the popularity on the channel. Also, this watch along is sponsored by our good friends at 6 Yards Out. Discover the ultimate retro football gift for a variety of occasions. The exclusive personalised range includes mugs, coasters, posters, phone cases and more. Search the website at www.6yardsout.com to find the gift you want or request a personalised retro gift design. You can even get yourselves that Bournemouth mug. Bournemouth 3, Bolton 0. What a night that was. So make sure you check them out also on Twitter. Thank you to our channel supporter members that always support us as well. You can become a channel supporter member at buymeacoffee.com/cherriesredarmy for as little as £5 a month. Really does help with our contributions and all the services and software we use on the channel, or a one-off donation will also be welcome. So inconsistent form for the Cherries at the moment. A couple of losses, a couple of wins, but the last couple of visits to Millwall have ended up with a win. Can we make it 3 this evening? Hopefully.
To half-time, Brooks has got a chance now, just outside the penalty. Brooks in field, a chance for him to make it 3, and David Brooks has, and surely Bournemouth, a giant step. The lovely link-up as Billing rolls in, Solanke, 4-1, job done. Solanke has his goal to go with his 2 assists from earlier on. He makes up for missing an open goal.
Well, we got lots coming up in the next few hours. I'm going to be joined by John Spark very, very soon throughout the whole evening. Stay with us. We've got Jacob Tanswell on standby. Lineups Live, we're going to take a look at that starting 11 that Scott Parker's picked for this evening. Get your pre-match predictions. Remember, the interactive chat is there for you all evening. The full 90 minutes and a post-match reaction with guests throughout. Oh, I tell you what, that's a sight I love to see. Let me down because he went to Derby on Sunday. Unfortunately, he's with us this evening. And actually, that might be a good thing. He's not at Millwall. We might get a result tonight. How you doing, John?
All right, I'm good. Thank you, Kirk. I have been to a win so far this season, I'll have you know. 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss is my record of attendances so far. But on the watch-along, when I've attended, we've still taken at least a point from every game. So that's an omen. Hopefully, we'll continue. Doing all right. Yeah, I'm very, very kind of pleased with myself at the moment because I got the prediction. I got 11 out of 11 on the predicted lineup. So we'll touch on that later, I'm sure.
Okay, we're going to get stuck into those lineups, but I can't have him standing by for too long. Let's get him into the show. It's the one and only from Dorset Live, Cherries Live, and let's get Jacob Tanswell in from the Den. How you doing, Jacob?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. Hope everything's going all right, and looking forward to hopefully seeing another win.
Should we get straight into those lineups then? Let's take a look at that AFC Bournemouth team and we'll get your thoughts then, Jacob. It's a few changes there. I think it's Mark Travers in goal, Chris Mepham, Jeff Lerma, Dom Solanke, Ryan Christie, Jack Stacey, Jamal Lowe, Leif Davis, Gary Cahill captain in the side again, Gavin Kilkenny, Jaden Anthony on the bench, Nyland, Ibsen Rossi returns, Steve Cook, Mariah Welsh, Lewis Cook, Marcondes and Rogers. Instant reaction coming to you then. Jacob, what's your thoughts when you saw that lineup?
I thought Christie is going to be basically doing the same job as Philip Billing usually does, I would say. I think he's probably going to go to the left of the midfield three, perhaps play in a number 10 role. But it's interesting that he plumped for Christie to move him over, because I thought the safest and the simplest option would have been just to bring Emi Marcondes in, like he did, and use him in that position like he did against Hull when Billing had COVID or he had an illness. So I was surprised at that, and unfortunately, you've got to look at Emi, especially with Jimmy Stanislas as well coming back. You've got to think, where's his game time going to come from? But I'm really interested to see how Christie does there.
Are you surprised, Jacob, to see the same back four that played against Derby? We hadn't conceded since the opening away game, and then we conceded 3. Steve Cook's on the bench. What was your thoughts when you saw the same back four?
Is that to me? Sorry, you broke up.
Yeah, so
yeah,
what was
I did,
your thoughts?
My thoughts on that. My thoughts on that would probably. Sorry, I can't hear you, but I'll just start waffling anyway. But my thoughts on that is, I know I see people blaming him, but I don't think he was culpable for the defeat. I'm not sure what you guys think. I think it is a little bit awkward for him because he's right-footed and he's playing left side centre back, and you saw that against Preston, he was playing left back and he wants to keep cutting in, which is a bit awkward. But I think them to back in.
And we may have lost Jacob in the capital, in Millwall. Tried to come on there and give us his full thoughts, but the Wi-Fi connection may have let him down. We might be able to get him on later on. But John, you just saw that lineup. We'll also take a quick look at the Millwall one as well, and I will get a message to Jacob and I apologise that the connection was lost. But for Millwall, it's Bukowski, McNamara, Wallace, Hutchinson, Jed Wallace, 5 goals, 5 assists this year for Millwall. Malone, Saville, Bennett. Certain Benicophobe starts this evening, Mitchell and Ballard. On the bench for them, Long, Keefton Beld, Bradshaw, Smith, Ojo, Pearce and Evans. And in the chat, we want you to put an emoji on the screen and put an emoji in the chat for how you feel about that AFC Bournemouth lineup. So with an emoji, let us know how you feel. We're just going to bring in, can we get Jacob back? Let's see if we can get Jacob back. No, he's definitely gone. But we'll just bring someone else in as well, and then we'll put those lineups on the screen and I get your thoughts. Let's also bring Keith Thomas into this watch-along stream for the first time this evening. How you doing, Keith?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Excellent. And do you know what? He might try and come back in. He's gone again. Jacob's trying so hard to finish what he was trying to say, but he looks like he's gone. Let's get those lineups on the screen like we normally do then, John. Those lineups were released at 6:45. What was you thinking?
Well, it was what I thought it would be. I did think that, in the last few instances where there's been an option to switch things up a little bit for Parker, he's brought Christie into one of the 8 attacking 8 positions. I had a feeling Lewis Cook might get rested. I thought he was, really showed his lack of match fitness in the last game. As much as his passing was, okay, he didn't really pass it forwards in the way that we really want him to. He didn't switch it in the wing to the wings the way that we know Gavin Kilkenny has done historically for us. And 2 games in 3-4 days would have been probably a bit too much for him to start. So I certainly expected Kilkenny to come back in, Jamal Lowe to get his time on the right hand side, with Christie coming in to replace the suspended Billing. And it's interesting how SofaScore has put it up again as a 4-2-3-1 there, which is what I feel as though we played for a large part of the last match. You felt Lerma was playing a lot deeper than usual, dropping into that back three quite often, like he did in a few that he has done in a few games recently. And I thought that completely disrupted the way that we build things up in midfield. Lerma didn't get forward enough at all, apart from for the goal. The build-up was too slow. And the forward passes and aggressive passes just weren't there. The accuracy wasn't enough. And both Lerma and Cook didn't really support the defenders enough in terms of helping to build up from the back. So I'd be interested to see if Kilkenny is allowed to just have that central role where, by the time he came on in the second half against Derby, we had switched to this 3-1-6 or whatever it was that we play when we were in panic mode, and Kilkenny was completely overwhelmed by their press. So he needs the support, and we can't just go all out. And I think that I want to see Lerma getting up and down the pitch like he did, and hopefully Christie having a bit more of an impact in the game from central midfield this time.
Keith, you can see the lineups on the screen, and there's a couple of players, maybe one I was expecting to see today, and that was potentially Steve Cook in a red and black shirt again at the back, playing on that left centre-back side that he's natural. He's played there many times when he played alongside Tommy Elphick, but he's gone with Mepps again. Not that Mepps did anything particularly wrong. I did think he had a tough day at Derby, just in general, without making any mistakes. Jack Stacey, Redemption Day. What's your thoughts on that lineup?
Yeah, I concur with John about being slightly more conservative at Derby. With regards to Cookie, it's pace, isn't it? Gary's not the quickest of cats, and neither is Steve. So I suppose he's brought him in there to sort of like nullify that. But we're all a bit sixes and sevens, certainly in the second half against Derby anyway. And I thought what John was saying is like Lerma playing that more holding role. We saw it at Hull, and if we're not pressing them properly in the midfield, we're not supporting Dom or Billing, then you're inviting pressure on, aren't you?
I think Mike Irwin said in the chat as well, I'm really interested, John, to see Christie playing in the middle. He was sort of brought in, I think, from Celtic to naturally play that role in a sort of cam. What are you expecting from Ryan Christie this evening?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting as well because he'll probably play on the left of the 2 8s, which is the role that Billing has done really well and has worked fantastically with Zamora while he was playing, and Anthony on that left-hand side. But Billing comes as much more of an unselfish player, person that's much more likely to want to play the pass rather than go take the shot. As much as he had obviously scored quite a few goals for us, it feels as though that's sort of like the second thought. Whereas Christie is a much more on the front foot player, much more likely to want to cut into his left foot and take the shot. He takes, without scoring, I think he's probably taken the most shots without scoring for us this season. And so it's interesting that he'll be sort of more asked probably to play more on the left, but he might well drift quite, across from the left to the right and back again. It's interesting. I'd like to hope that he'll have much more of an impact in this game, because I feel certainly it was the case against Derby and very much against Preston that he was seemingly bullied out of the game, particularly against Preston. He just wasn't able to hold on to the ball well enough and wasn't really having the impact that we know that he can have off that right-hand side. And against Derby, he had one of the highest pass percentage completion rates in the team. And from right wing, the creative player, I want him to take more risks than that. I want him to get in, try and force the pass, trying to use his skill and make something happen. And that just didn't happen against Derby. So, hopefully he'll be able to combine better with the likes of Solanke and Lowe and Anthony by being in that more central position.
Who's joining us this evening then? Let's get the hellos as well. I missed that at the start. So Chris, how are you? North Stan, Cherries fan, aren't you? And I'm sure you'd be there against Coventry on Saturday as well. How are you, Mike? How are you doing? Good evening, afternoon. We've also got Cameron joining us. How are you doing up the Cherries? Got Stephen. How are you? Thank you for joining us on at the weekend as well, Stephen. And you're with us this evening. And Mark Cole, always having a good input as well. And someone at the weekend, Keith, He got his 14th league goal of the season, I think it was. Does he get another one? Does he score like this evening? Can Dom get us going, Keith, early doors tonight?
I certainly hope so. He's been brilliant this season, hasn't he? He really is. Isn't he about 1 or 2 behind Mitrovic?
More than that.
He's 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
Shows you how much I'm paying attention to Fulham. No, he's been brilliant, isn't he? He gives you everything that you want. I think he's really good defensively as well when there's set pieces, or he seems to clear his lines. And whereas Mitrovic is a one-trick pony, isn't he?
That's a little bit harsh, I think, maybe. But if he is a one-trick pony, he's really good at that trick.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe he's in his right league.
Yeah, but I'd rather have someone that does an all-round game than just someone that is just going to score. I mean, Lineker was a great goal scorer, but didn't do anything for you up front. And it's a preference thing, isn't it? It's what you want from a player. Yeah, obviously goals score, and they win games for you. But I'd rather have Dom. As I say, he does everything for us than a Mitrovic or even a Tony, personally. But that's horses for courses, isn't it?
Opposition then, John, let's just focus on certain players for Millwall who might try and hurt us this evening. It's always Jed Wallace when you think about Millwall. As I said, 5 goals, 5 assists, but there is a certain Benica-phobia as well. I'm sure he'll hit the target tonight. Will he hit the back of the net? I'm not sure. But looking at those attacking players, anything you're worried about?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Jed Wallace. It really is like I am amazed that he's still not necessarily in Millwall. I'm amazed he's still in the Championship because I really think he's easily Premier League quality. He's carried Millwall for years now, and I mean, you look through the sort of headline stats on something like FotMob here. It's like most goals, most assists, most shots on target, most successful dribbles, most key passes, most big chances, most possession won in the final third. Like he is so important to the way they play and being able to produce in big moments. And it's going to be one of those games as well. You just need to make sure we just don't give any stupid fouls away in our own third as well, because his delivery from set pieces is fantastic as well. And Millwall aren't exactly a small side. They can really take advantage of the fact that we're missing. As much as he's not a great header because he showed that particularly in the last game, Phil Billings not playing, he does provide a lot of height, and that's something that you need when you're challenging in the box. So, yeah, he's the big focus. Obviously, you've got Benefobi, as we all know. He had something of a mixed bag with us, and obviously didn't end fantastically. But he started well, and he certainly can be a menace in the box because he's very physical, he's very strong, and we'll see.
You're not having a lot of luck tonight, are you, Kirky?
Absolutely not. And John's just kicked out as well for the moment. We'll let him sort out his Wi-Fi. Let's see if he's back. Is John back? Here he is.
Sorry, my internet at home is playing up a little bit, so apologies if I ever drop out.
The football on the pitch is better than our Wi-Fi connections tonight.
Yeah,
well,
fingers crossed.
It's not just Bournemouth Millwall going on tonight. We've got other games going across the Championship, and we want you to help us stay up to date. And there are also Championship games last night. So let's take a look at those scores from yesterday. Not many goals in the Championship last night. Only the 4. It was Blackpool 0, West Brom 0. They drop points again and give us a second chance to increase that total between us and the playoffs. Coventry City 0. There are opponents on Saturday versus, and that's against us. And it was Coventry City 0, Birmingham 0 last night. Middlesbrough 1, Preston 2. That's 2 late goals from Preston. Nottingham Forest 0, Luton 0, and also Reading 0, Sheffield United 1. And we hope that John Fleck is okay. He sort of went to the ground. I think he had a seizure, but he's back home after his hospital visit today. So best wishes to John Fleck. This evening, games in the Championship: Barnsley versus Swansea, Blackburn Rovers take on Peterborough, Bristol City take on Stoke City, Cardiff City against Hull City, all the cities. Fulham take on Derby. Can they do us a result this time around? Millwall take on AFC Bournemouth, and QPR versus Huddersfield. Some reaction to some of the scores last night, John, and some of the scores potentially tonight.
Well, I suppose the interesting one there is for us is the fact that both West Brom and Coventry both dropped points, and my mention the last time we did that tier list, the international break, I was the one that was saying that I felt West Brom was the one that weren't going to keep up, and they're proving me right more and more every week. But the interesting one for me is the Middlesbrough 1, Preston 2, because not only are Preston, a very iffy side, you just don't know what you're going to get, but they have obviously turned us over. That was their first away win of the season. They've got another one there at Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough obviously changed manager to Chris Wilder, who most people expected to be able to make better use of the quite exciting squad they've got there, with a lot more, more ball players in it than fits necessarily a Warnock team. And yet they were 1-0 up. Apparently squandered a host of chances and then got kicked right at the end with 2 late goals. So, we'll see how much that dents their playoff push. But just a complete lack of goals is really interesting. In 5 games, 4 goals is just so odd for the Championship. So we'll see if that quota gets. The quota was for the whole of the midweek, and we end up with about 20 goals in 7 games. And this one, we'll see.
Keith, Scott Parker will give his usual thoughts, and he'll probably say we're focusing on ourselves, one game at a time. Does he have a little eye on West Brom, though? And is that putting pressure on us when they drop points? And is that the reason we potentially drop points as well against Derby?
I shouldn't think so. I think Scott's right. We've got to focus on what we're doing rather than what's going on around us. I mean, latter end of the season, and when it's squeaky bum time, certainly, but it's a long way to go still, and I think Scott's right. We've got to focus on our performances and get that consistency back that we had, and iron out the issues that we've had, certainly at the back at the moment.
Place your score predictions in the chat. We are about 5 or 6 minutes away from kickoff. Hopefully, me and John should be quite in line tonight. Shouldn't be far out of sync, and we'll try and let you know where we are within the match so you can stay in sync with us. And John, going into this game, we reacted. Took us 20 minutes, but we reacted against Swansea after losing to Preston. Do we react tonight? Do we need to get a win?
Well, it's a very different game, obviously, going up against Millwall away as opposed to Swansea at home. And Swansea did sort of capitulate somewhat after the first 25 minutes and allowed us to do whatever we liked for a large chunk of that game. That's not going to be the case against Millwall. Now, obviously, last time we came to Millwall was quite the fun day out in a 4-1 victory, but there wasn't a crowd then either. And as much as this is a late midweek game, Millwall has a reputation for a reason, and they're a crowd that will, it'd be interested to see whether they're necessarily impacts us or not. Hopefully, I'd like to think that we'll be able to still play our game, but we'll certainly be expected to dominate the possession in this match. They should sit off us, but look to pounce on the counter, and how well we stop that, and how well we were able to keep hold of the ball, which we weren't able to do well enough against Derby. That will have a big impact on how effective we are today. And I'm still confident of a win. I certainly think we'll get at least a result, but I'm going into this expecting a win.
Score prediction, John?
2-1.
2-1.
Close one,
Keith,
but I think we'll get it.
Are you looking to get back to winning ways, Keith, or is it a case of, do you know what, take a draw if it's there, get out of Millwall unscathed and move on to Coventry at home at the weekend?
I'd like to think we can win it, but I'll be happy with a draw after the second half performance at Derby, which was a bit of a shambles. They're going to be physical, but I'd like to see us get back to that pressing again, which seemed to disappear also at Derby as well. So that's, we shouldn't be frightened of them. But we talked about Jed Wallace, but he's not, pulling up any daisies, so to speak. So, and Benek is a little bit, as we know, hit and miss. But it's good to see him back after what's happened to him in his personal life. So, I'll be happy with a draw. But it's just improving performance. That's really what I want to see, and get back to consistency. And obviously, if Dom can get a couple more, maybe he'll catch up 2 or 3 goals behind Mitrovic.
Well, Mitrovic isn't playing today, I don't think. I think pretty sure
No,
he's not starting.
He's out. He's out. How many penalties has Mitrovic taken?
Dom's had a few as well, though, this year,
Dom's had 2 or 3, hasn't he?
Is it a score draw, Keith, or is it a no score draw that you're going for?
I'm going to go 1-1.
1-0. And let's see how the Cherries fans and any fans, because we'll take home or away in this watch along. You're all welcome. Keep it clean. Don't be mean, but we don't mind a bit of banter. Chris Hubble, he's going for goals. Going 3-2 win for the Cherries. Oh, that'd be nerves again. Cameron, he's going for 2-1 to the Cherries. Snap, Mark's gone for 2-1. That's John's scoreline. Mike's gone for a clean sheet. Back to clean sheets. He's looking for 2-0. And Stephen's also going for 2-1. And I'll also jump onto the 2-1 as well. Keith, we're looking to see you throughout the evening. Get your thoughts on the game during half-time.
Yeah,
after the game.
No worries. And, no worries. I've got no hair to pull out tonight, so that'll be all right then.
Thanks for your pre-match thoughts. The fans are filtering into the stadium as kickoff is getting nearer. You enjoy yourself, Keith, and we'll catch up with you later.
Speak to you later, boys.
See ya.
Keith. Here we go then, John. How are we going to set up? How are you expecting us to approach the first 15, 20 minutes?
Well, it's interesting because you think back to, 2-1 defeats that we all look back on in terms of QPR and Luton. We started very slow in the first 10 minutes and caught a goal completely against the run of play in those games. Against Swansea, we were utterly dominated for the most part for the first 25 minutes. And then, when we got our goal, which was maybe not so much quite against the run of play, we then went on to completely run that match for the rest of the last hour. So I'm not too sure. I'd expect us to want to just get back to that high pressing system. I'd imagine, as Keith quite rightly pointed out, our pressing just didn't work against Derby, and I don't know whether it was because it was unorganised or whether we weren't quite. I think that might have been to do with Lerma's positioning, and that he was a little bit too deep and he wasn't able to really assist in the press enough in that game. So perhaps that might be a slight tweak to make sure that we can really get back at them. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm hoping we go a bit faster. But waiting for the teams to come out, and they'll have to prove their point to us in the first few minutes.
Not a full house at the Den tonight, and I believe it's fresh as well. So they'll be wrapped up warm, those Cherries fans, 1,600 fans. You could even have got a ticket on the door for this game. We'll quickly take a look at that updated championship table then. Potentially, can the Cherries look to go back to the top if results go their way as well? Fulham currently top of the championship, 41 points with the clean green along the right-hand side. Bournemouth now 40 points with a form guide of lose, win, lose, win. Win, well, it's not right because we lost the last game, so they need to get that right. And in the playoffs place is West Brom, Coventry, Stoke, QPR, and then Millwall down in 10th. They got pushed out from 9th to 10th because of results yesterday evening, but the players are coming onto the pitch. And it's going to be Bournemouth playing in white this evening, John, in an actual away kit. And Millwall will be playing in their usual dark blue and white.
Yep, so easy to tell apart, which is good. But white rather than the green. I suppose maybe the darkness of the green would have clashed too much with the dark blue. I'm not sure, but they'll be going in their usual back three. Interesting that there's Mason? Oh no, that's Mason Bennett. I thought that might have been Joe Bennett, and that would have been 3 ex-Cherries in the Millwall lineup. But there is obviously not only Bennett Kofobi, but Scott Malone in the Millwall side. Another player that sort of left on not the best ground with supporters, which is a shame because I quite liked him when he was playing. And my stepbrother at the time absolutely loved Scott Malone when he played for us. He was just knock and run, just keep the ball 500 yards down, and I'll chase after it. There was no skill. Just I'm faster than you. I'm going to kick it past you and then run. It was so schoolboy, but it worked all the time.
Even
Players
Scotty Parker's wearing a coat tonight. Even Scotty
Oh my
Parker's
God.
wearing a coat tonight. So it must be fresh in Millwall. But we are very close to kickoff. Millwall will be kicking from right to left as we look. And as I said, the Cherries are in white, and it looks like Millwall are going to kick off. We'll let you know when we've kicked off, and you can try and sync yourself in line with us. We'll also be doing a minute for David Brooks in the 7th minute. So make sure you get behind Brooksy wherever you're watching right now. The referee's checking. There's 11 players on each side. Checking the linesman's awake. And here we go. And we are kicking off. Millwall kicking off.
There'll be the knee first, I would imagine.
Even missed it out. And Millwall have kicked off.
No.
And it'll be an instant long ball that is cleared by AFC Bournemouth after 7 seconds. And there is already 50-50 battles going on in Bournemouth's half. But Jack Stacey needs a good performance tonight, John. Jack Stacey, and he's just taken the first throw-in of the game.
Yes, he does. It was Jack Stacey's a player that I've been talking about. I was talking about when he was first got himself back into the squad after Alan Smith's injury as being, the more aggressive, the more capable attacking right back, and maybe a little bit suspect defensively. But he was fantastic up until the Derby game, where he absolutely let himself down in the first within a 5 minute spell.
He just had one, didn't he? He just absolutely had one.
I mean, he made 2 mistakes to allow Lawrence to come inside on his right foot for that second goal. It just what I just don't know what he thought was going to happen without pressing him properly. And then the third goal, going up against not exactly a far central midfielder and just pushing him in the back when they were in the penalty box. It's just brain dead from a defender. But that's been his first bad match since he's come back into the team. So, he just has to shrug that one off and get back to his usual ways.
We want to see your emotions throughout the evening in the chat. Cherry score. Let's hear you celebrate in the chat. And if the Cherries don't score, let us know how you're feeling about the performance. But we want to interact with you throughout the evening. We're 1 minute and 43 seconds into this. Where are you at, John? About right?
I'm 6 seconds behind. But that's closer than the 60.
1 minute.
That's 60 than the 66 seconds that was last time.
Definitely. And Millwall are trying to get on the ball early doors. Challenge from AFCB there with Chris Mepham. Goes all the way back to Mark Travers. He conceded his first goals in a while. Probably still the best goalkeeper in the Championship. And Gary Cahill captain in the side again. Looking to evaluate where we're going to go from here. Plays it to Chris Mepham. Goes all the way out to the left with Leif Davis. Trying to connect with Jaden Anthony, just like he did at the weekend for a very good goal, the second goal. But AFCB intercepts. It's now with Millwall. They're trying to work it right to left. It is out left. Space to cross. He does cross high, too high, and it's over. A lot of space there on the left-hand side, though, John.
Yeah, I think that was more... It's the natural tendency of Jefferson Lerma that when the ball is in that kind of position, he will just drop so quickly. And I feel as though that he dropped into space. He didn't pick up a man. And he could have either pressed the ball player or he could have gone to the person that the ball passed to in the end, which was his man. And then he goes wide, and Jack Stacey probably should have pressed him. So there's good pressing high up. Jaden Anthony put in a good interception early on to get a throw in, which looked like, to give away a throw in their third, which looked like he might have injured himself on earlier on. But yeah, when the ball gets into that position, you just need to rely on your players doing their jobs. And Kilkenny wasn't there. Lerma felt as though he had to drop in. It allowed space to open up.
AFC Bournemouth Germany only watching the watch along today. Fingers crossed we get a win and Fulham don't win. Thank you for joining us, AFC Bournemouth Germany. And yes, let's hope we get a win this evening. Millwall in possession just inside their own half, but that's given away. And Gavin Kilkenny gets on the ball for the first time this evening. Jeff Lerma plays a pass. He gets Jamal Lowe behind the defence. To the right, he's trying to cut inside. Defenders held him up. Still with Jamal Lowe. He's now going backwards. Turns. Gets Jack Stacey involved. Now Lerma's on the ball again. Whipped cross again, just like the Millwall cross. Too high. And not good enough in the final third.
Yeah, I just think Lowe had a great chance to put the ball in the box, and I don't know why he didn't. Even though Solanke probably wouldn't have got there, he was a little bit behind the defenders. He wasn't quite probably going to reach it. You put the ball across the box in that corridor of uncertainty, could easily get tapped for a corner or even an own goal. He just needs to make the decision and go with it.
Millwall in possession with their back three at the moment. We've got the ball in their own penalty box at the moment. Trying to play it out, down Millwall's right-hand side. Mepham wins the header. Retrieved. Gavin Kilkenny battling for the ball. And Gavin Kilkenny gives away a free kick in between halfway and our penalty area centrally of the pitch. And there are going to be a lot of 50-50 battles this evening, John. This is Millwall.
Yeah, I mean, that's just maybe the South American flair coming out from Lerma. But Kilkenny wins the ball, and rather than Lerma just he could even toe poke it to I think it's Christie who's right in front of him. He does he does sort of a Cruyff part. No, not a Cruyff part. Sort of like a back heel pass ish, attempting to give back to Kilkenny, who he doesn't know is literally right in front of it, right next to him. He whacks it into Kilkenny, so it bounces off him. And Kilkenny has to chase after the ball and he loses it out. So it's a silly free kick to give away, which has been put in now. And it's an offside given immediately. So good line there, which is good to see. Gary Cahill hopefully helping with marshalling on there. I do wonder again why he set them out with Cahill on the right and Mepham on the left. Mepham has only ever played at right centre-back through all his time at Brentford, all his time at Bournemouth. Whenever he's played at right centre-back, apart from this season where he's been forced to play everywhere but right centre-back, except for the game against Hull. And Gary Cahill has won Champions League as a left centre-back. So I don't know why he's forcing him. They're making Mepham play in a less comfortable position, especially if Cahill's the more experienced player. If anything, you'd want him to be the one that has to adjust. But we'll see. Cahill's been playing for us at right centre back since he started, partnering with Lloyd Kelly. So you'd hope that they would have worked on it well.
We are going into the 7th minute in 10 seconds, and you can give your support to David Brooks as we dedicate a 1-minute footage to David Brooks. And Anthony's on the ball, and we're in possession. But this is David Brooks in the 7th minute.
David Brooks seems to love scoring on the road. And David Brooks with his first Premier League goal. Across the goal to Callum Wilson. What a save! The rebound is in, and it's 2-2. Onto his left foot. Opportunity to shoot still. Brooks shoots. There it is for David Brooks. And now a little ball where Brooks takes over into the feet of Fraser. Back to David Brooks. This will be brilliant. This is brilliant. Holding now towards Brooks for a second! David Brooks at the double! Tee up Fraser here, and now a chance for the Cherries. Fraser with Brooks, 2-on-2 here. Fraser plays it in, David Brooks for 2-0. It is 2-0! 0-0 ball with Palace. Smith ball is the penalty here. Picked up by Wilson. Square to Brooks. Left foot in! And David Brooks with his first Premier League goal! Wait for a play, it doesn't come. And David Brooks is onside. A chance to put the Cherries too clear. Brooks! It is 2-0.
That was our 7th minute to David Brooks. We hope you're doing well, and we've not missed any goals. That's a good thing. And Benicophobe was looking to break through that Bournemouth defence, but it was well challenged and well defended by Chris Mepham. And it's AFC Bournemouth 0, Millwall 0. And we are 8 minutes and 40 seconds into this Championship match day 19. And a lot of games go this way. It's not high enough, the tempo for me. It does frustrate me that we don't come out the traps enough, John, and we don't hurt teams and we don't cause panic within the opposition.
Yes, there's certainly an element to that we aren't. The thing is, we aren't much of a fast starter in terms of the first 10 minutes. But if you look at our record in the first 45 minutes of matches, we've only conceded 2 goals all season. All right, no, sorry, can't be doing that. It's on we're watching on AFCB TV, so around the world you can all watch it as long as you have an internet connection. Although it will cost you, we still have a very good record in the first 45 minutes. Even though we lost to Derby, we were still 2-1 up at half time, and there's only Derby and West Brom are the only 2 teams that have scored against us in the first 45 minutes all season in the league anyway. So there's a set play from Millwall here coming down the left-hand side and blocked by Stacey. I think it's more of a measured game. I think it's more of a measured approach. I think that Scott Parker doesn't really necessarily want us to absolutely fly out the traps every game and sort of gradually make our way into matches and then just control it from then on. There's a lot of teams style is to try and be as fast as you can out the blocks, as we were under Eddie. But I think Parker tries to be a lot more measured about the whole game.
It was the first corner in the game for Millwall from the left. It was won in the air by the Millwall player, but it was too high and over the bar. And it's Millwall 0, AFC Bournemouth 0. Across the Championship, it's currently still 0-0 as I see it. Barnsley 0, Swansea 0, Blackburn 0, Peterborough 0, Bristol City 0, Stoke 0, Cardiff City 0, Hull City 0, Fulham 0, Derby 0, Millwall 0, Bournemouth 0, and QPR 0. Huddersfield 0. And we are approaching the 11th minute in this game. It's with Bukowski at the back. And he looks like he is going to go long. And can we win an aerial duel as the ball comes down? Challenged by Mepham, he wins the header. Millwall player wins the second header. They get in control of the ball now inside their own half to the right. Trying to work it down the line. Taking on, they have worked it down the line. It's with Jed Wallace now wide. He's crossed it, looking for Benicophobe. Cleared by Cahill. And a second clearance. And now Dom Solanke's retrieved it in an attacking part of the field now as Jaden Anthony goes over the halfway line. Slows the game down though and allows Millwall to reset. And that's where it gets a little bit frustrating, John, because we do have that power and talent and attacking prowess. But then when we slow it down like that and we let these teams get set, we have to then try and break them down.
Yeah, that is annoying in terms of there's a counter-attack opportunity. You might as well take it. I do think that there's a lot of times, and particularly with a team you would say like Bournemouth that wants to try and have possession of the ball. And this was something that really frustrated me when in Eddie's final season, that we just forgot how to counter-attack. We just never did it. We never actually tried to play fast and loose with the ball when we had the opportunity. And in that instance, Jaden Anthony ends up on the left-hand side, cutting inside. Or actually, we're on the attack here, but it's defended well by Millwall. Jaden Anthony has the ball on the left-hand side, probably one of the most incisive passes we have. He cuts in, and you have, I think, only 2 players that are far forward. I think he's looking to play a ball, passing it across pinging it over to the right-hand side. And maybe the option just doesn't look like it's good enough, and he just doesn't take it. And I would rather, considering that it's maybe a 3-on-4 or a 4-on-5, just go for it. You don't have to necessarily complete every pass. If you take the risky passes and you get 1 in 4 of them, that's a goal in most situations when you're on a good counterattack. So, it just want to take a few more risks when you're on the counterattack because you can afford to. But Millwall, Oh, that's poor from Anthony there, giving the ball away. But Kilkenny is battling, and we win it back.
Christie,
And
centrally, he's travelling with the ball right to low. There's an overlap coming back into Christie, but it was behind him. Christie tried to swivel, but he couldn't control it. He got too far ahead of the ball, and that broke down on that occasion. We welcome anyone into this watch along. Please hit the like button. Can we get to 50 likes at least this evening? We've got Bailey Fedden. I just want to say I'm a Millwall fan, but good luck today to Bournemouth. You're welcome to watch throughout the watch along. Good luck to you as well. But we hope the Cherries get a result this evening. Back with Jack Stacey, and we take the ball back to our back four with Gary Cahill captaining the side this evening. He's looking for options. He goes wide. Jamal Lowe drops deep into Dom Solanke, but the Millwall defender got ahead of him in possession, and it goes long from Millwall looking for a diagonal over or between Mepham and Leif Davis, but they couldn't work that one this time. Gavin Kilkenny, he's back in the team this evening. He looks for a slide past. Back now with Jack Stacey out wide. We're starting to move the ball around now with a little bit more pace. We are starting to move the ball around with a little bit more pace, John, but we're not going anywhere with it.
Well, we looked like we might be a bit faster for a few seconds, but that disappeared quickly. We had a nice opportunity to attack before Jamal Lowe tries to pass it centrally into Ryan Christie, and it's just a really bad pass. Put it behind him when he could have taken one touch and shot, but it wasn't good enough. Very much like in Gavin Kilkenny at the moment, not only in when he gets on the ball, but also defensively. He plays in exactly the right spot to try and stop counter-attacks. If they get the ball in midfield from our play, if in the right situation, he's right on their midfielder that has the ball if it's centrally, and otherwise he backs off and makes sure that he can try and get an interception. Certainly, it doesn't allow for anyone to take the pocket of space that he's guarding. But we've got Lerma again playing quite deep, and I'd just like to see him get further forward than that. But there, at that moment, he does actually come into more of an attacking position, allows Kilkenny to take that lower spot. Millwall are happy for us to pass it around the back four. They're not asking much of us until it gets to one of the midfielders, and then they're pressing well. But we need to just speed things up to get around them. And just as I say, that lovely 1-2 between Jack Stacey and Jamal Lowe, but very good pressing from the midfielder, pushes him backwards, and the ball's gone back to Leif Davis. And back to Gavin Kilkenny, takes a turn and goes back to Gary Cahill. Oh, nice touch from Jamal Lowe. Bit of a sort of bad touch, turns into a good dummy.
Still in possession.
Goes forward to Jack Stacey, and he goes backwards.
And now Dom Solanke's on the turn. He tries to feed Jamal Lowe, looks offside, is offside. And that was an opportunity if Jamal Lowe could have read the line to get through for a chance.
That's Dominic Solanke's fault because he doesn't play the pass quick enough. That's he dummies the pass, and then or dummies the shot, but it should have been a pass, and Jamal Lowe's already made the run. So I think you could have maybe blamed Lowe, but Dominic Solanke has to play that pass quicker. It wasn't the best pass anyway; it went straight out. But this looks like the first goal of the evening. I was going to
say no goals in this game, but there are goals in the Championship this evening. There is a goal for Blackburn Rovers. They're 1-0 up versus Peterborough, and Hull City 1, Cardiff 0, and Cardiff have been better since they're under new management, but it is Hull City 1, Cardiff 0, confirmed there by AFC Bournemouth Germany. Always like to welcome a special guest when he comes on, John, and we've mentioned before we don't see him enough at the Vitality Stadium nowadays, but he does support the team where he can. Welcome, Max, to the Watch Along stream. How are you doing? In Russia, maybe? Want to say hello, John?
In Russia with love. And that's from Russia with love, isn't it? Yeah, always nice to have some support from members of the Bournemouth family, no matter what position they are within the hierarchy.
Good to see you, Max. Enjoy the game, and come on, the lads, get us back to winning ways this evening. AFC Bournemouth Germany said 24 likes. Can we get to 50 this evening. Hit that like button when you can throughout the evening to see if we can get to 50 likes. And Drabble21 prediction, lads. We're going for 2-1. Both myself and John are going for 2-1 to the Cherries. Scrappy at the moment, though, in the centre of the park. Phobe's gone down, holding his head from a challenge from behind. It will be a Millwall free kick. And you can add slow starts this season. You can add Millwall versus Bournemouth to this one as we come up to 19 minutes. And this was about the time that we equalised against Derby, John, with a very, very good goal.
I don't know whether the equaliser was that good of a goal,
wasn't it?
It was a mistake and 3 block shots before Sir Anthony managed to scrap it into the corner on the volley. I saw a few people actually. Jaden, I couldn't believe it. Jaden Anthony put up a tweet of, as you know, most of them do after the game, and sort of say thank you and or whatever he wants to do. As obviously in the case of a loss, it's thank you for the support and we'll bounce back. And there was a couple of retweets from some Millwall fans were saying that suits you right for celebrating against the team with minus 13 points. I'm just like, are you serious? Like a 21-year-old scores for the club he's been with for a good few years, in front of in front of the fans, gets us level. Again, just because you're on -3 doesn't mean that you can't celebrate. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Here we go, down the right-hand side. Jamal Lowe, overlap from Jack Stacey. He needs a good game tonight. He's going to hype across. He does get a cross in. Keeper looks to come for it. Too close to the goalkeeper. Does gather it. Keeper wastes no time. He gets Millwall on the attack with Jed Wallace on the right. He looks to take on Anthony, looking for a 1-2 of a phobia. He plays it back into midfield. And Millwall are trying to counter-attack where they can. A chance for Jack Stacey to deliver a very, very good ball there, but it wasn't. Too close to the goalkeeper. Millwall now down the left-hand side. Looks like it's going to be intercepted by Gary Cahill. He tries to get it out to Jack Stacey, and the attacking player of Millwall gives away a throw-in. Good chance there for Jack Stacey to whip the ball in, but again, the final third delivery from both teams just hasn't created a chance for any attackers.
You say Millwall attacking play. You didn't recognise Malone with the platinum blonde cut, did you? There,
yeah. He was high up. He was high up the pitch.
Yeah, I didn't notice it was him at all at first either. But Jack Stacey there. I mean, you know, he can put in a good cross, but we know he's a bit inconsistent with his crossing. And to be fair, against this Millwall, you know, very strong, tall Millwall back three, it's going to have to be a hell of a cross to pick out Solanke or Anthony, or even Christie if he happens to be in there, which I doubt it, going up for a header from Stacey. But though it was well worked to get all that space for Stacey on the right-hand side from low. Need to see a little bit more link up in that vein, particularly from Christie, who I haven't really seen very much of so far. Played the odd nice pass, but would like to see a bit more involved. Oh, that's a shame. Poor clearance from the keeper, but it was headed on by a Millwall player, and we get possession back with Jack Stacey, who produces a nice sliding pass to get it back to Mark Travers. And we're just playing the ball around the back again. Interesting, actually, didn't pick up on when you said earlier on, Mark Travers probably the best keeper in the Championship, which is a hell of a shout. If you honestly believe that.
I said he's probably still the top performer in the Championship. Is what I meant.
I thought you said best goalkeeper.
No,
but he does have the most clean. He does have the most clean sheets.
So even with those 3 goals he conceded. If I did say that, what I meant to say was he's probably still the top performer in the Championship, even with those 3 goals he conceded. Millwall on the attack down the right-hand side, trying to get it over the top of the AFC Bournemouth defensive line, but it's too much. It goes out for a Travers goal kick. Let's say a few hellos to the stream. Victor the McGamer, hello, how you doing? Please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. And he asks, how are we playing at the moment? I'm not able to watch it live. Slow, okay in spells. Gavin Kilkenny's trying to pick up the ball and play through the lines. We've had a few chances to get the ball in the box, but we haven't been able to pick out Dom. Dom's tried to release Jamal Lowe, but was too late in passing, and Jamal Lowe was offside. But no real clear-cut chances from both teams as we approach 23 minutes and 20 seconds, John.
Yes, nothing clear cut as of yet. But we have needed Mepham to be on his game, and Cahill once as well, with some interceptions and blocks. Mepham has slid in to produce a good interception or tackle 3 times early on. And there, I think, is that a yellow card for Kilkenny? No. Yes, it is. The referee's got his. As I was mentioning earlier, that Kilkenny does the right thing at times to press when the opposition does, look to counter at us. In this instance, he completely misjudges and ends up completely taking out. Yeah, that's not a good tackle at all.
That's a couple of yellow cards this season for Kilkenny. He got a yellow card early on. I'm trying to think. Might have been against Reading.
I can't remember which game it was, but I think he got one like the third minute. Yeah, I think it was Reading, wasn't it? Yeah, it was like the third minute or something. He got a yellow card in that game.
Yeah.
All those yellow cards have come really early on, and then he doesn't do that anymore.
No.
I think it's very much a sort of a thing that he's been told to do. That try and counter press whenever you can. Be the player that comes out to attack the ball.
Chance down here. Chance down the left with Jaden Anthony. Leif Davis is sprinting to get beyond him. Jaden Anthony ignores him. Leif Davis puts his arms up, wanted it, tried to get a shot away. Jaden Anthony gets a deflection, and it'll be a Cherries corner. Leif Davis sprinting there to try and get an overlap in. Was probably on John. Jaden Anthony went for it himself. Wasn't good enough in the end, but it is a corner.
I think he got a bit lucky to get the corner out of that because it wasn't the greatest
that was
shot
on.
at all.
The overlap was on there.
I thought he completely messed it up, but there's some signal that's been made there. I wonder what kind of set piece we'll see here.
It's a corner to the Cherries. It's going to be coming in from Jaden Anthony. Gary Cahill's got his arms up. Comes in from Jaden Anthony. Mepham approaches it, tries to flick it with his outside his right foot. And it was a 50-50 challenge in the box. The Cherries won it. Bennett came across him. Gavin Kilkenny wants to know, was it Kilkenny involved? Because if that's a dive, he's already on a yellow. Was that Kilkenny that challenged with Bennett there? Because if it's not a pen...
It was, but I don't...
Because that's
I don't think he's given a free kick. He's given a throw in. I don't know. The commentator is talking about if he's given a free kick, and he hasn't given a free kick. He's given a throw in. He does go in for a 50-50 there. If the referee does think he's dived, then yes, it's a yellow and a red. But like Kilkenny doesn't really ask for much. Ask for it. He pokes the ball, and if he's in a bit of a if he's reaching for it, he might end up going to the floor anyway. It could. If I see a replay of that, I could well believe that that's a dive. But the referee didn't give a penalty.
There's nothing there. Now, whether that's a dive or whether that's Kilkenny just nicking it and sliding, there's absolutely nothing there. Complete air between the both players.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been given. That could easily have been given as a dive. I think Kilkenny, I don't know, you could argue he's trying to get his legs out of the way, but he didn't need to go to ground. He might have been expecting contact, and that's maybe why, but there wasn't any. That could easily have been given as a dive to get a second yellow. I don't know, another referee would have sent him off for a second yellow for that. So we're a little bit lucky.
Let's take a look at some of the stats in 27 minutes and 30 seconds. 58% possession to AFC Bournemouth, 42% for Millwall. One shot each, none on target, both off target. One corner to Millwall, but it is one corner as well to AFC Bournemouth now. So that'll be updated very, very soon. A couple of offsides for Millwall, one for the Cherries, and all the fouls coming down Bournemouth side of the stats at the moment, and one yellow for Gavin Kilkenny. 173 passes for AFC Bournemouth with 83% completion accuracy on that. 118 passes for Millwall. So not a shock to see there, John, that we dominate possession. It's just what we do with it in this game in the next 60 minutes is going to determine in whether we get goals and win this football match.
Yeah, and as I said in the build-up, I'd like to. I was hoping that Gavin Kilkenny would not Gavin Kilkenny, that Ryan Christie would be more involved in this game, and he just hasn't been at the moment. Millwall are on the attack. Ball's on the left-hand side, played in between, and ends up still with them about 25 yards out at the moment. Back on the left-hand side with the left wing back, intercepted by Lowe, but recovered. Now it's further down the left, and Jack Stacey is able to clear.
Jack Stacey does clear. Now it's Millwall in possession. And Jack Stacey again started this game a lot better. But it was more later on against Derby where his problems really hit home. And hopefully Jack Stacey gets back to playing well again this evening. In with Afobe. He holds the ball up well. He's trying to get it out to Millwall's right. Intercepted by Anthony, defending well from the front. Millwall get possession back with their goalkeeper this game. It's nearly 30 minutes in. It is AFC Bournemouth 0, Millwall 0. There are 2 goals in the Championship this evening. Blackburn Rovers 1, Peterborough 0. And it's Cardiff City 0, Hull City 1. Every other game in the Championship is 0-0 this evening. Gary Cahill in possession, in no hurry, looking for options, looking for Gavin Kilkenny. Now he looks to play forward to get Jamal Lowe involved. Pass wasn't completely there, but intercepted and out for a throw-in for AFC Bournemouth. Now, John, Millwall have scored 18 goals this season, 6 in the first half and 12 in the second. Is it important we get a goal in this first half?
Well, yes, but it's not vital. It's important that we get a goal at some point. Probably more important that we don't concede at the way things have started. But, as I mentioned earlier on, the Bournemouth's record in the first half is very good. It's much better than our second half, how we tend to do in second halves. And that's partly because we tend to have dominated the first half, or at least, really made our possession count in the first half and gone into half time 1-0 up, 2-1 up, 2-0 up. And we're able to ease off a bit in the second. But no.
Jeff Lerma trying to find Dom Solanke. Come to nothing. Bukowski comes out. He's in possession of the ball in no hurry. And again, just trying to find the perfect pass in that final third to create a chance for our top goal scorer in Dom Solanke, 14 goals, league goals this season, looking for 15, but it's not there at the moment. Need to get Christie in more promising positions, John. We need to get him in areas where he can hurt. We need to get him in areas where he can unlock that defence, just like we did last season. Foul there by AFC Bournemouth by Gary Cahill. To the left-hand side, about 30 or 40 yards out. It was a foul on Bennett by the looks of it. And it's going to be a dangerous free kick for Millwall, which they will load the box. I'm sure of that. And they'll look to put it in the box. Can you hear me, John?
Yeah, I'm back.
Free kick to Millwall, soft free kick. And it's something you were asking for before the game. You were saying, let's not give away soft free kicks. Let's not give an opportunity for a team to load the box. We conceded a poor first goal at the weekend from a delivery. It's going to be coming in just a moment. And I'll get your thoughts on that. It's coming in right now from Malone. Too high. Kept in at the back post, though, by Millwall. But they couldn't keep possession. It's out for a Bournemouth throw-in. Yeah, we don't want to be giving free kicks away like that, because this is where teams are probably going to look at pre-match in how they're going to potentially score goals against AFC Bournemouth.
Yes, without a doubt. And I mean, when you look at, certainly it was the goal against Forest, and then it was the first goal against Derby, both set pieces that we conceded from in those instances, and obviously the third one from Derby is a penalty. But I think our defence has actually been very good at dealing with set pieces all season, but it's just a great opportunity to do something. As an attacking player, it gives you an opportunity to completely run exactly how you want to play the attack. So that as much as you don't get goals very often from set pieces, they're a great opportunity.
Another goal in the Championship at Ewood Park. The Chilean, Ben Brereton, has given Blackburn a 2-0 lead.
Use
Blackburn
his
2.
full name. Use his full name.
You give it. You give it. You say
Ben
it.
Brereton Diaz. Now that he's Chilean.
And they has given Blackburn a 2-0 lead. He's having a good season.
Very good.
He's so loved, apparently. I heard with Ben Brereton that he's got more followers than some famous people, and they reckon it's because pretty much the whole of Chile has followed his Twitter accounts or his socials.
Oh yeah, that was before he'd even played a game for Chile. Before he'd even nationalized, he had thousands of Chile fans all over his Instagram and all that jazz. And then after playing in the Copa America, wasn't it? He was the face of Pepsi in Chile for a while. I don't know whether he still is, but he got loads of advertising deals in Chile after his appearance. He's absolutely loved over there. But still doing the business, or at least doing it better than he's ever done it in Blackburn after that. After playing with some fantastic players in that Chile side. So there we got a little bit better at the pressing in that instance there, but Solanke just sort of like not necessarily wanting to make that final effort to block it, just forcing him to play in a difficult position rather than attempting to block the actual ball upfield. And our press just hasn't quite been at it enough, I don't think, yet.
Millwall have a throw-in down the right-hand side in AFC Bournemouth's half. It is Millwall 0, Bournemouth 0. No chances to really write home about this evening at the moment. We've been here before, John. Peterborough took a while to get going against Stoke. That was the one goal on that evening. Hopefully the goals will flood in at some point. We are due a belter. I mean, I know I got one on my own against Derby in the wrong way. But as a throw-in coming here from Millwall, long throw-in, won by Don Solanke, cleared out for a Millwall corner. But as a team, myself and you, John, we are due a belting game at some point, surely.
Yeah, for Bournemouth supporters, as we are, the Derby Bournemouth game was an incredible game for the neutrals, but not so much for Bournemouth fans. At some point, it's going to happen when we're doing a watch along, but
ball in from
not
Millwall.
today, as the way things are.
Cleared by Millwall out to the left-hand side with Malone. Jeff Lerma wins the ball off him though. Slips, keeps possession though. Jack Stacey on the right tries to go long, and Benicophobe closes Jack Stacey down. Benicophobe trying to work hard for Millwall, trying to prove a point potentially this evening. But it has gone out for a goal kick to Mark Travers in a pink goalkeeping kit, would you say, John? Scott Parker currently having a little bit of banter with the Millwall fans behind the dugout. Coming back to you, John, is that a pink Mark Travers goalkeeper kit? What would you rate that out of 10?
I don't know. It looks pinkish. It's probably going to have it's probably going to have some sort of fancy name to it. Every color's got their own name, hasn't it?
Yeah.
What was that one that was? What was that game not long ago? I don't know whether it was I can't remember which game it was, but there was a kit that had Chris Temple in a tiz, because the color of the kit was broken glass or something like that, and that was a weird shade of green or blue. I can't remember what it was, but they've all got their own. Just acting like a blooming boomer, saying they've all got their silly names. It's a pinkish. As long as it doesn't clash with anything, then it's fine.
Fourth goal in the Championship, not in this game, but in Bristol. Bristol City have taken the lead. Bristol City 1, Stoke City 0. Bristol City don't win many games at home, but they've taken the lead in this game. Already, the Championship games this evening has matched the same amount of goals from last night. Bristol City taking the lead, John, against Stoke City, who are looking for playoffs.
Yeah, so I'm just more focused on the Jefferson Lerma there going into a tackle, committing a foul against Millwall, which I am amazed he didn't get a yellow card for. It was kind of hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder, but he just barges into the side of him, absolutely nowhere near the ball. And
Millwall.
they were on the counter there.
Gavin Kilkenny clears after a long free kick by Millwall, trying to hit the box with 50 yards. Gavin Kilkenny clears. Now we're trying to get up the pitch. Jaden Anthony's closing down the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper goes long. We are 39 minutes into this championship, match day 19. No goals. Ryan Christie, he's created a bit of space though, just after the halfway line. We've got 4-on-4. Can he go left? He goes solo. Wrong decision. I think he could have gone left to get Jaden Anthony involved. Tried to go on his own. Got intercepted. 4-on-4, John.
Yeah, that was just bad decision making from Christie there. What was I saying before about the difference between Billing and Christie? That Billing seems to think pass first, shoot second, and Christie's very much the other way around. And that was where really you would have wanted the pass. And I think Solanke, I'd have to look it back, but I think Solanke kind of comes a bit too central. I think he arcs his run, whereas he really should have just kept going straight and would have been a better option, and kind of removes one of the passing options from Christie's. And I think I know why Solanke's doing that. He's trying to pull the defender away, but I think he would have been better as a passing option rather than trying to remove one of the defenders from the equation. But well defended by Millwall. And yeah, poor decision from Ryan Christie. But that's the first time that Ryan Christie's really had the opportunity to get forward on the ball. He's not really been able to do enough in that central position as of yet.
Throw into Jack Stacey down Bournemouth's right-hand side. Dom Solanke comes short, tries to give it back under pressure from the defender, and he kicks it straight out to a Millwall throw-in. And Stephen said, anyone know the extent of Kelly injury? I assume it's not too serious. Well, that might be me hoping it's not too serious. Is it potentially saving him for Fulham and getting him right for that game?
Well, Parker said he was struggling after the Derby game when asked about about Kelly's fitness. I'm pretty sure the word struggling was what Parker used. So read into that what you will. About whether he is talking about just, that's whether that is precaution or whether it's more serious, or if it's Eddie Howe type mind games, and whether he will be fit for the Fulham game further down the line. But we've got other games that we'd rather have him in now. And as much as I think Mepham has been very good in this game, and he made the fewest mistakes defensively against Derby, you still want a left footer on that left centre back position, particularly in the way that Parker wants his defence to build up. But Mepham is still doing a good job. Leif Davis, interestingly, I think in this game has been told maybe not to be quite so gung ho in terms of defensively. Mm-hmm. He was caught out far too much against Derby, trying to win the ball, trying to get interceptions rather than just making sure the defender doesn't get past him. And he was allowing everyone behind him against Derby for the first 20, 25 minutes. In this game, he's played a lot deeper. He's not really got forward as much. And that has sort of impacted us a bit.
It was just that one overlap, wasn't there, that Jaden Anthony could have played him and decided to try and get a shot away, which led to a corner chance here, though, for Jamal Lowe on the right. Long ball, comes inside left, gets a shot away, blocked. And second 50-50. Jack Stacey wins it, though. Now it's Ryan Christie, centrally. Dom Solanke trying to win it out for an AFC Bournemouth corner. Nothing spectacular about that move, but it was potentially an opening for Dom Solanke, but didn't anticipate quick enough what was going to happen, and the Millwall fullback did, and he got it out for an AFC Bournemouth corner. I think that'll be the second corner of the game. Paul has said, evening guys and girls, how you doing, Paul? Welcome to the stream. 43 minutes into this game, Millwall 0, Bournemouth 0. No real clear-cut chances in this game. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. let us know any of your thoughts on this game. It's a corner that Jaden Anthony will take, floats it in. Cahill, back post, heads it back. Jeff Lerma, Jack Stacey, high ball into the box. Dom Solanke trying to win the header. Does go! Millwall defenders, they want a foul. They're asking for a Solanke push. Referees having none of it. Solanke wields away. 15th league goal this season. 3 consecutive games now. And it's AFC Bournemouth 1, Millwall 0, John.
Yeah, interesting. That is the build-up to a set-piece goal that we've seen before with a floater to the back post and Gary Cahill. This one was a little bit more scrappy because the ball wasn't quite high enough for him to deal with it. But a lovely assist from Jack Stacey. And I do think the Millwall players do have a shout with regards to a push in the back from Solanke. I just waiting for this replay to see it again because this angle is perfect for me to see. And actually, no, maybe not. There's really very little in that. Once you're in the air, it's very easy to get pushed off your off where you're jumping. But there's really not a lot in that at all. I thought there was more. When I first saw it, I was surprised the foul wasn't given. But there's just a tiny nudge in the lower back, and then once they've challenged, then it's anyone's game. And Solanke gets a little bit lucky because his shot is blocked and it falls back to him and he's able to hit it and he sticks in the roof of the net. So as things stand, back to top of the league. Solanke on 15 league goals this season. Do we deserve to go in 1-0 up? That's very debatable. I would say it's been way too even to really show that any team is dominant. There hasn't really been any chances. That was the first proper chance of the match, and Solanke's taken it. So,
how are you feeling?
Our incredible first half record continues.
Paul says Solanke goal, 15th league goal this season. Bradley's gone. Solanke, the GOAT, absolute god. AFC Bournemouth Germany only watching it on the watch along this evening. Thinks he's bad luck. You're not, but we are winning, and it's a goal. Top of the league as it currently stands because Fulham are drawing. Dan's gone. Dom, Solanke. And treble 21. Yay. Followed by a Cameron. Yes. And we are going into this game 1-0 up. And with Millwall scoring 12 out of their 18 goals in the second half of games this season, that might be an important goal. 1 added minute currently added after half time. We currently played 1 minute 20, and that is half time. And that's a good time to score. But we scored like that before, John. We're going to come back and get some reaction in just a moment. We're going to take a look at those stats. But you're happy with that goal we just scored just before we go for a break, John?
I'm delighted. Yeah, like I said, do we deserve it? Very debatable. Millwall have arguably been the better side for me. We haven't really got our passing game going. Our pressing hasn't been there as much as I would like it to be. But you've got to take your chances when they come. And that's what Dom has done. That's what our set-piece work has done. More great work from Gary O'Neill. A lovely delivery from Jack Stacey, who will... I'm not sure he'll get the assist for that because it was a block shot that ended up being the assist. But, yeah, let's hope we build on it in the second half and don't let it slip like we did against Derby.
We're going to come back in about 4 minutes. Don't you go anywhere. It says it in the banner. We're going to get some thoughts. We'll take a look at those halftime stats. We're going to get Keithy Thomas coming back as well to give us his first half reaction. But we're just going to grab a drink. You grab a drink. Keep us on the YouTube watch along, and we'll be back in just a moment. And then we'll look forward to that second half. See you in about 3. Welcome back to the Cherries Red Army watch along, and here are your halftime stats. It is AFC Bournemouth 1, Millwall 0, 56% possession to AFC Bournemouth in that half to Millwall's 44. 5 shots for the Cherries, 1 shot for Millwall, 1 on target in the whole game. That was Dom Solanke's goal, 44th minute. And then we've got 2 corners each for both teams, 255 passes to the Cherries. And we've got successful battles going on across the pitch as well. Not any aerials won, but we don't expect to win a lot of them, do we? This watch along, we appreciate you joining us. Let us know in your thoughts in the chat of that half time. And this watch along is sponsored by 6 Yards Out. Discover the ultimate retro football gift for a variety of occasions. The exclusive personalised range include mugs, coasters, posters, phone cases and more. Search the website at www.6yardsout to find the gift that you're looking for, or request a personalised retro gift design. Even that Bournemouth free Bolton nil mug. Go grab yourself one, visit 6 Yards Out, and thank you to our sponsors here. We'll also take a look at those scores, and we've got Keith joining us again, but let's just take a look at the Championship other scores before we get stuck into that analysis. It's Barnsley 0, Swansea 0, Blackburn 3, Peterborough 0. Good night to Peterborough by the looks of it. Bristol City 1, they don't win many games at home. 0, Stoke City. Cardiff 0, Hull City 1, Fulham 0, Derby County 0. That means the Cherries are currently sitting top. Millwall 0, Cherries 1, QPR 0, Huddersfield 0. Welcome back, Keith. It took 44 minutes to get a decent shot on target. It's questionable whether it was a foul or not. Maybe Dom Solanke used his strength, but he got his 15th goal of the season. We spoke about him before the game, and he's given the Cherries the lead, Keith.
Certainly has, hasn't he? It's not too bad. I think he's the epitome of a modern forward. He's again, his defensive work has been really good. He's helping out his midfield. He's pressing really hard, and he's got his reward again tonight. So a great lofted ball from Kilkenny into there, and he was at the back stick ready to go in. So yeah, it's he's proven the doubters wrong. So yeah, I'm really pleased for him.
John Roberts says in the chat, lucky to get out of that half in front, but we are in front. Now what happens against an opposing team who scored 12 out of 18 goals this season in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, they might well have more goals in the second half than the first, but Bournemouth are also pretty darn good defensively. So it's, you can look at stats in a number of different ways. And I think for the most part, I'd like to think what Parker will ask that will be asking more from Christie in that half. We'll be asking more to get Calvin Kilkenny. It's spraying those passes a little bit more frequently. He wasn't really able to get as much of an influence on the game in terms of getting it out to Lowe, getting it out to Anthony, getting it into Christie as well. Actually, from that position, he is being pressured hard. It was something I noted that the Millwall's press, like a lot of teams when they come up to us, they aren't really too bothered about our back four having the ball. But as soon as that ball gets to Kilkenny, he's got a man on him in no time. So he obviously is going to find that difficult, and that's where he needs the support of Lerma in the initial stage of the build-up. But then after that initial moment, that's when Lerma can get to bomb on, and we haven't quite got that balance as of yet, I don't think. But Millwall, have fair play to them. They pressed well when they've had to, and they've defended solidly up until the goal, which was a second phase. The ball ends up landing from Lerma, passes it back to Stacey, and Stacey does put that lovely lofted ball into the back post for Solanke to battle with, where he gets his little bit of luck. But yeah, I don't think either team really necessarily deserved to go in front in that half. It was pretty even, pretty dull for a lot of that match. But Millwall weren't able to put the final touch to any of their build-up play, and that was and that has prevented them from being able to create anything of any note and stop them from scoring, along with our good defending. But we'll see what Parker does in terms of, and in fact what Millwall will do to try and change things up in the second half.
And Keith, John talked about being good defensively, apart from when we go to Pride Park, but we ain't beaten them for 35 years, so it should be nothing new. But Robert says, Mepham solid. I didn't want Mepham in tonight. I wanted Steve Cook. But I have said, and I will go on record and have said, that Mepham does have good gains in him. And I praised him this season when he's played well. The problem I have with Chris Mepham is they just don't come consistently enough. Hold that thought, Keith, because we're going to go live to the Den for the first time. We're going to see if we can get Mr. Aaron involved. How you doing, guys?
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, every time I see you, it feels like a Birmingham performance, but then we score.
Well, I mean, that was a pretty abject performance, I think. We got away with one, really, at the end of that half. I thought we were pretty abject. I don't really know where to put the blame on that. I just think it was a case of we weren't really at the races. And usually we say the first 20 minutes we're not at the races, but I didn't think we were at the races for the whole half there. And we sneaked one at the end of the half. So happy days, to be honest. I think we've really ridden our luck. And well, I don't really think that the Millwall will pose much of a threat, but we haven't really posed ourselves on them. And that's what I'm a bit disappointed in.
A few days ago, Steve, we were in the lead at half time. We didn't end up winning the football match. Do we end up winning the football match tonight?
I think we do end up winning the football match tonight. I think basically, I think they've not shown a lot at all, and I don't see that changing. Personally, I think we can handle their threat quite comfortably. It's whether we can break them down at the back, and as it stands, we've pushed into that position. We've got that goal. Good finish by Dom, but I'd expect a bit more from us, to be honest. I think we've been a bit lacklustre, and I think we've done well to get our noses in front, to be honest.
Steve, we want to see a happy face at full time. Maybe you'll get the opportunity to pop on afterwards. What's the score? What's the score going to be?
I said a 2-1, and I stick by that. I think there's always that threat of xenophobia. We know what he's about. We know he can mix it in the box. He's a strong, powerful forward. If he gets a chance, possibly he'll put it away. I said 2-1. I'm going to stick with that. But I think we'll edge this one. We'll edge this one as a slight win by one goal.
Get yourself back in that stadium. Don't miss any goals. We'll speak to you later.
I've already missed the first one. I came down early and it went in. I'm a dreadful fucking. I'm a dreadful fan. Let's be honest.
We'll speak to you later. Cheers for coming in.
See you later, Stevie. I'm not that well. Nice to see you, Keith. Nice to see you, John. I don't know if I'll be up for the aftermath because my battery's on. What's it on? It's on 90% already.
Amateur.
I am
amateur.
But I've got the headphones and I've got the landscape perspective. So
he's learning.
Professionalism, matey.
See you later.
All right, love you all. Speak to you later.
Bye.
Talk to you later, Stevie.
Back to you, Keith. Where was that for? Chris Mepham. Is he justifying his pick tonight?
Definitely. And he's been good all season. He's had to be played in different positions. He's had to come in cold. Look, he's 23. He's not even at his peak yet. He's 23 years old and he's learning his game. He's not got the experience of Cahill, but I thought he was good in the Euros, and I think he's been good so far this season. He's been absolutely solid. People are going on what happened last season, but you could point the fingers at anyone, and Chris Mepham's the least of our problems there from last season. But yeah, I understand it's a bit Marmite, but weren't we saying that about Phil Billing? Weren't we saying that about Donald Solanke? These weren't good enough. So you've got to give him a chance, and they look quite.
I said it once or twice.
Yeah, you've got to get these are young guys, and they've got to learn their trade, and I think Mepham's going to be a great centre forward. But get to about 26, 27, he'll be rocking, and along with all these guys, and they're, as I say, they're proving the doubters wrong. That's why we're top of the table at the moment.
Keith, very, very quick thoughts, 30 seconds, because the ref's getting ready for the second half. What do we do this second half? Do we go after them and put this game to bed? Because we say that every week when we're 1-0 and 2-1 up. Or do we sort of sit back and just try and hold on to 1-0?
No, we go after it. The first defender is Dom. And if he's pressing, Ryan Lowe's a bit lacking in the press. But if we're pressing them, if we're forcing them back, then they're going to find it difficult getting out. So, no, more of the same, please.
Keith, we're going to catch up with you later, hopefully. They have just kicked off. It's 45 minutes and 7 seconds gone. Keith, thanks for your halftime reaction, and we'll speak to you later, hopefully. Enjoy the game.
Cheers, lads. Cheers.
Cheers, Keith.
We're going to just get this scoreline up to date for you on the screen as well, John. And while I do that, you take it away with the commentary as we are 45 minutes, 30 seconds in.
Yes, and good pressing to start this half. And, that's an interesting call from the ref. Jaden Anthony pressurising their right wing back. And Ryan Christie was over him as well. Looked like he was, falling on the ball there, which would normally be a free kick in our direction. But the ref gave a foul against Ryan Christie. Millwall then, after that, a free kick just worked out to the left-hand side and just whacked it straight into touch. So it's a throw in about the halfway line to Bournemouth. Something pick up on something Keith said about, or possibly it might have been Steve, about Millwall sort of not really having an impact in terms of attacking. They haven't really shown what they can do, which I think is right. There's been a couple of one good interception from Cahill and 3 very good interceptions from Mepham that have really stopped them from getting too much into the game. But as I say that, Leif Davis loses his battle with Jed Wallace, but then wins it with a very good slide tackle. But that was actually the area of the pitch that I was going to highlight, is the real area that we've got to be careful of, is Leif Davis going up against Jed Wallace, who is faster than you would think as well for someone who's generally a very good crosser of the ball and striker of the ball as well. Davis has got to be careful to not let that habit of trying to get in front of his man seep into his game, because he did just then and almost got caught out, but thankfully he got back at Wallace. Because if there's going to be anywhere that we really need to look on, obviously Jed Wallace is the man that everyone looks at when we're playing Millwall, but it really is when we have our least experienced defender in our back four is the left back, who has made mistakes. You really don't want him to be the one that's going solo up against their best player. And so, you're going to have Jaden Anthony supporting, which he has done at times, which is, part of his game, natural game. He does that to help out Jordan Zamora, as he has early in the season. But Kilkenny as well, now that he's on a yellow, he's got to be a lot more careful. He's got to support in the right way. But there's a break now up the pitch with Benica Phobe on the right-hand side going up against Chris Mepham. He lays it back to Wallace, who puts the ball in the box, and headed down by Lerma, who puts it back to Phobe, who crosses it, and Lerma intercepts and is able to clear out straight to a Millwall player. And they have it again about 40 yards out. Still on the attack, though, before it's intercepted. And we now have a counter opportunity with Ryan Christie, who turns backwards, and we keep hold of the ball.
Gavin Kilkenny on 2. Leif Davis now trying to link up with Jaden Anthony. Jaden Anthony back to goal, gets fouled. But Millwall showing some urgency early doors in this second half. Like you said, Jed Wallace and Benica Phobe trying to link up. Jeff Lerma acting as a guard in front of the centre-backs before it gets to them. And Leif Davis takes a short free kick back into our own half. It's with Chris Mepham. Long diagonal looking for Jamal Lowe. He goes up with an aerial challenge, loses that. Comes back to Jack Stacey. Jeff Lerma slowing the tempo down. Back with Chris Mepham. He travels forward. Leif Davis now.
Oh, that's better.
Dom
That's
Solanke's
better.
a great pass. That's him. Ryan Christie with space to the right. Links up, Dom! Great block by the Millwall defender. And that was a chance. Left-footed by Dom. Millwall defender went down, sliding, got the block in. Great move between Dom and Christie, though. Space opened up, John.
Yeah, that was started by a really good pass from Leif Davis. The kind of, strong, accurate pass, into the middle of the pitch. Solanke had peeled off his man, found a nice pocket of space, beat one person, and as we say, this Millwall on the attack, crossed in, and it's just bounces around and picked out by Leif Davis, who kicked it clear. That one was interesting. Not a great headed clearance at all. Jamal Lowe then doing well to win the throw in. That attack, really nice work between Solanke and Christie. Lovely bit of intricate play going forward, and that's the kind of link up that I want to see from Christie in the middle of the pitch. And unfortunately, Dom takes not the greatest first touch with his right foot. He ends up getting it caught between his legs and is able to get it out just about to take a shot, but the defender has closed him down well enough early on. And we're back on the attack. Lovely pass from Kilkenny into Anthony, who gives it to Christie, who loses the ball.
Poor touch. But Christie's finding pockets of space now that Billing would, on form, would pick up, and he finds areas to then maybe get other players involved. And this is what we want to see from Ryan Christie. There's a lot of talk about Ryan Christie pre-match within AFC Bournemouth and Dorset Live, talking about how he's settling in and performing. 5 assists this season. No goal, but a chance here for Dom. Just outside the box, gets the wrong side of the defender. Potentially a free kick. Ref doesn't give it, not interested. Jamal Lowe now swings it in. Sort of a soft cross, wasn't it, John? Trying to loft it over the defender and not to anyone. Dom trying to look like he was getting involved, but it was too far back. But we're looking more active, looking like, rather than some of the games when we've been ahead, we are looking for that second goal to give us a little bit of breathing space.
Yeah,
chance here for Christie.
Ryan Christie coming into the box, going for the shot, and saved by the keeper. Not the greatest shot there, trying to curl it into the far corner, but doesn't really get any. Doesn't start it outside the post far enough. Game's just more open. Game's just far more open. Millwall are having opportunities as well, but they're not really doing enough with it, whereas Bournemouth are getting into their box on a regular basis at the moment. And again, just as that replay ends, Millwall look like they have it in attacking position, but it goes out for a throw. Jed Wallace looking a little frustrated at the moment. Just far more open. And the passes are being... Bournemouth are a lot more proactive in trying to intercept any loose passes by Millwall. And we're getting players like Kilkenny, like Christie, able to take control of the ball a little bit, spray those passes. Kilkenny spraying those passes wide like we'd like to see him do. But Millwall are playing quite a bit more direct as well, I think. They're getting a lot more joy from playing the ball long. And there's a free kick to Bournemouth on the halfway line. Gavin Kilkenny taken out there. That's what we're going to have to be careful of. Their ball's over the top, and Afobe looks like he might well get onto one of those if we're not careful.
Thank you for joining us. If you currently are, if you're not able to join us live, let us know your thoughts on this game in the comments. But please do hit that like button. Try and help us get to 50 likes. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're 290 subscribers away from 1,000. Really help Cherries Red Army get to that figure. No Ben Pearson tonight. Lewis Cook starts back on the bench after starting at Derby. And Stu Seddon says, how's Kilkenny doing this evening?
He has had a very mixed bag in the first half. Wasn't really able to, stamp much authority on the game. Was being pressed very well by Millwall's midfield. He's getting more opportunities to dictate play in the second half now when the game has opened up quite a bit. But he did get a yellow card. What was it, 23rd minute? He's the only player to have been yellow carded so far, I believe, with a rather cynical foul to prevent a counter-attack. And then was possibly a little bit fortunate not to get a second yellow for a debatable dive in an attempt to maybe win a penalty. I don't know, you'll have to look at it back. I think he was probably just getting out of the way of the defender. But now, Bournemouth are on the attack again. It's Jamal Lowe on the right-hand side. No, Jack Stacey putting the ball into the box. And that's cut out before it gets to Dom Solanke. That's what I'd like to see from Stacey, though. That was him far up the pitch, getting the ball into attacking positions.
Does he get his head up though? I did question this the other day. Is he just putting the ball in the box, just hoping someone's in the position where the ball it goes and where he puts it? Or is he physically actually getting his head up and trying to pick Solanke out? Because there was a few opportunities at the weekend when he got into similar positions and he overcooked it. Is he looking for him, or is he just hoping that someone's going to be where the ball goes?
Well, I mean, if he's overhitting it, it doesn't really matter what the build up to it is. He's just not hit it well. But in terms of there are situations where you don't really even need to really look up too much in terms of if you're pushing far enough, if you can at least see that there's space for the ball to be put into that corridor of uncertainty, then that's where you want to put it. But yes, you obviously do want to be looking up for your players at times. Now, in the Derby game, obviously I was there. I can't really see whether he's actually looking up to put the ball in or not. You will have been able to see it better on the live Sky cameras. But I agree that sometimes he doesn't necessarily look up to see where it's going to go, but you only need to catch a glance at times. It's something I'd have to focus a little bit more on. But I think he has worked on. I think he has worked on his crossing because he has a couple of assists this season, I believe, and they will have all been from attacking down the right hand side and either cutting the ball back or putting it in.
He got the one at Bristol City, didn't he, for Jamal Lowe? There was one there,
which was a lovely crossing,
definitely
into exactly the kind of spot you wanted it on. And I don't know whether he'll get the assist in this game because, like I said, it was a blocked shot that kind of will probably count as the assist for the Dominic Solanke goal. It was Dom's own blocked shot that he then put in the rebound, so I don't know whether he'll get the assist. But yeah, I think, yes, he can definitely improve with his crossing, but I think his athleticism just adds something that is better than what Adam Smith can necessarily provide, given that he's now, in his early 30s. Not that Adam Smith couldn't do that when he was younger. But
long here for Millwall, trying to get on the end of it, Bennett, and he doesn't, and it goes through to Travers. We are 56 minutes into this Championship Matchday 19 fixture. It is Millwall 0, AFC Bournemouth 1, and Mark Travers has the ball in his hands, and he is looking for options. We've got goals in the Championship this evening. It's Barnsley 0, Swansea 0 though. Blackburn 3, Peterborough 0, Bristol City 1, Stoke City 0, Cardiff City 0, Hull City 1, Fulham 0, Derby 0. That's good news for AFC Bournemouth so far. Millwall 0, Bournemouth 1, and QPR 0, Huddersfield 0. Chris Mepham playing alongside Gary Cahill. Gary Cahill, captain, plays it to Jeff Lerma, who drops deep. Jack Stacey having a better game this evening. Maybe it was just a blip at the weekend for Jack Stacey. He's looking more himself, and with Adam Smith breathing down his neck, growing into fitness, he needs to start performing well again if he wants to stay in the team. Millwall now down the left-hand side, picking up Malone. He does a switch, trying to get it out to the right. It's now down the Millwall's right. Long ball, trying to feed between Davis and Mepham. Mepham defends well again. And you may have seen me criticise Mepham a bit at the weekend. Good lad, Chris Mepham. Not sure he's the real deal, but he does have good performances in him, and he's playing well tonight. And you had a bit of opinion on Chris Mepham as well. There's a chance here for a Afobe, just wide. Great wonderful challenge by Gary Cahill. Afobe got himself in between Mepham and Cahill. The ball went over Mepham's head. Gary Cahill, some people challenge him, John, that he ain't got the pace, but he did eat up ground there, and a great blocking as Afobe got his shot away.
Yes, fantastic block, and I think he's down injured still. Wonderful ball over the top for Afobe, absolutely perfect. And yes, throws his leg out at it. And I don't know whether that's the reason necessarily, whether he pulled something, possibly groin, but it looks like he's holding more his stomach. Yeah.
I wonder if it's
his abdomen. It's abdomen area. I don't know whether that was where he was caught by Afobe. When Afobe goes for the shot, obviously he's going to connect with Cahill. But he's certainly still down injured and getting treatment. I'm hoping that will just be an impact thing and he'll be back up. He looks fine to me. I think so, unless it is his groin.
I think it's stomach. I think it might be the follow through from Benicophobia as he shot. Potentially it'll be studs we'll have another look now as they show a replay on AFCB TV live. As Afobe goes through and shoots, I reckon he catches him as he shoots, and Cahill goes down, and he almost unintentionally stands on him.
Yeah, he essentially is just trying to put his right foot back down to earth, and he comes across Gary Cahill's chest, lower chest as he does that. Completely accidental, and yeah, he's just getting. Unfortunately, he'll be forced off the pitch because he's had to receive treatment, and we're going to be defending a corner, so that's not good. But it's something that we have to deal with. Unfortunately, it's the rules of the game. But that was a wonderful ball over the top. Absolutely nothing Mepham could do about that. It was all about whether Cahill could intercept that one, and he did fantastically to do so. But now Scott Malone over the ball with a corner from the right-hand side. And Cahill, I'm sure, will be getting back onto the pitch as soon as the referee allows him. But for now, we have to defend this with 10 players.
That's correct. A Millwall corner that will be taken by Malone. Gary Cahill's by that corner flag. We're defending this without Gary Cahill. Ball comes in, near post, headed, clear. Not sure who by. Might have been Jack Stacey. Malone, though, again, this time too high and out for a Cherries throw-in. Dealt with, and hopefully Cahill will come back on the pitch with 60 minutes gone. This would be about the time, John, that Chris Mepham would come on if we had a fully fit squad. Any changes you're expecting in the next 5 or 10 minutes?
It'd be a bit early for Chris Mepham with half an hour to go. Half an hour? I think if he's going to make a change, it's probably going to be Jamal Lowe, who's been pretty ineffectual for the most part. He's had his moments, but like as was pointed out by Keith, he's not. He never seems to quite be there in terms of on a high press. But then he's very capable, obviously going forward, cross in
Ball
by
in
Jed
box.
Wallace.
It's a header, well defended. Mepham used his body well just to put a bit of a challenge in. Travers now fists the ball away as the second cross comes in from the other side. Dom Solanke trying to hold the ball up and relieve some pressure, but Millwall are back in possession. Over to the left for Millwall on Jack Stacey's side. They come back though to where it's come from, back down to Millwall's right, and now Leif Davis's side, trying to work a 1-2. Millwall getting on the ball, having more possession, getting behind our back four without really causing any danger. There's no foul there, and we're in possession. We are in the counter. Dom Solanke left, and that's a potential foul on Dom Solanke. And the ref has given it by the look of it. And this game is getting tasty now, John, in Millwall this evening.
Yeah, there's been a few decisions that I'm sure Millwall fans won't be happy with. This one is interesting because it's Jayden Anthony. Yeah, I just think I can understand why Millwall fans, because Jayden Anthony goes up against their right wing back Hutchinson, I think is his name, but his right wing back, and the ball is a roughly sort of stomach-ish height. Jayden Anthony jumps to try and connect with it with his leg, but I don't know, with his knee, and the Millwall player brings his head down to try and head the ball. So in the end up, it looks like something very close to knee on head, but he's brought his head down. So it's not really a foul, especially as the case that Anthony gets the ball first. So there's no foul there. The Millwall fans are angry. Dominic Solanke gets up the field, given the ball by Ryan Christie on the counter. He gives a nice little jink and ends up getting taken down. And the referee gives a foul for Bournemouth. So the fans are very much going to be on the ref's back from now on. Substitution's been made. We have Lewis Cook coming on, and I'm pretty sure it's Gavin Kilkenny that's come off, which is an interesting change. Because I think
asked you if there was going to be any subs.
Well, I didn't say there wouldn't be. I just said if I was going to make a change, it would probably would have been Jamal Lowe. I don't think Gavin Kilkenny has done anything wrong in this game at all, but he is on a yellow card. And
True.
given that there has been, it's gone a little bit more feisty. Lewis Cook has been brought on, and it's completely like for like. Lewis Cook will be doing exactly the job that Gavin Kilkenny was. Well, that's an update has just come on the championship scores there, Kirk.
And it is Blackburn 4, Peterborough 0. You know who it is. Who is it, John?
It's Ben Brereton Diaz, I'm going to guess.
It certainly is. And Peterborough's night goes from bad to worse in the Championship. 4 goals in the Championship last night. 4 goals at Ewood Park. 1 goal at the Den. The Cherries were celebrating 1,500 plus Cherries as Dom Solanke got his 15th league goal of the season to make it Bournemouth 1, Millwall 0 just before half-time. And Mark Cole just confirming that substitution. Lewis Cook coming on for Kilkenny. And Millwall in possession down there right. It's now a throw-in though as Afobe runs the ball out. He's frustrated. He's questioning the linesman. Afobe's played well tonight, to be fair. He's had a few chances to get a shot away. Hasn't got a decent shot away, but he's worked hard. But he always did sort of work hard, didn't he, John?
Yeah, he always worked hard. I don't think we ever had any issues with his work rate, and he was sort of forced into more of a number 10 role when he worked up front with Callum Wilson, because under Eddie, if Callum Wilson played, he was the 9 and the other strikers had to work around him. That was how it was. There was the hierarchy there. But Afobe, unfortunately, just wasn't good, consistent enough a finisher. He just didn't score enough goals, and he got into such good positions and just couldn't put it away, that was the case in the Prem. In the Championship, he has a much better history of scoring a lot of goals. And in League One as well, obviously with MK Dons, he was very good. But so far for Millwall, he's only got 3 this season, I believe, but he has suffered with injuries and he is obviously getting older. So you have to bear with him on that one. But he certainly has battled. And had it not been for a very good Gary Cahill sliding, a couple of Gary Cahill good sliding challenges, he would have had some more opportunities. But another change for Millwall. There was another change for Millwall. They did bring on Bradshaw, the number 9, came on for I don't know who, and they've just made another change. Scott Malone has been taken off, so I'd imagine that's more of a like, oh, now we have a man through. It's Benik Afobe 3-1-1, and he scored.
He scored. Millwall 1, Bournemouth 1. He tried to get behind the Bournemouth defence a few moments ago. He got in between Mepham and Cahill. This time it was a race between just him and Cahill. He got behind. He had seconds to think about what he was going to do. And do you know what? Benik Afobe hit the target, hit it well, and he's got Millwall back in this game. It's Millwall 1, Bournemouth 0.
So that is the interesting thing, that the Bournemouth defence maybe weren't quite sure of how they were going to handle the change in formation, because the assist comes from, so the ball just gets put over the top by the centre-backs, and it's the number 9, the player that's only recently come on, who's the second striker that's been brought on the pitch. No one's on him. Absolutely no one's marking him. And I don't know whether Mepham isn't ready for it or whether Mepham's not his man, whether Lewis Cook needs to be on him a bit better. But the team wasn't set up well enough to deal with that. And he gets flicked on. And Benik Afobe is on it. He's in line really well. Gary Cahill's not going to be keeping up with him when he's not quite ready for that ball to come through. And when he's 1-on-1, I would have liked to have seen Travers come out quicker. I think Travers is too slow to come out there personally. However, it is a very good finish from Afobe. And after having so many clean sheets away from home, that's 2 games in a row where we have conceded. And, our record of, staying in front when we score first is lacking somewhat recently. And given it's now 1-1, there's 22 minutes plus stoppages to still get another goal in the game. We need to see more of how the second half started from Bournemouth. We started really well in the second half, but it's just not been there for the last 5 minutes.
Chance here for Millwall again down the right-hand side. Try to cross. Jeff Lerma comes across. Millwall attacking player trying to cross the ball. Wants a handball against Jeff Lerma. Arms were down though. Nothing in it. Millwall are back in this game. It's Millwall 1, AFC Bournemouth 2. 68 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. And at the weekend when we conceded, we ended up conceding again. So we need to make sure we don't make that mistake again. Millwall have got 8 draws this season, 3 at home. And they've had 6 wins with 4 at home. And they did beat
this is wonderful build-up play from Bournemouth.
Bournemouth on the attack. Jamal Lowe now playing more centrally and more forward. doesn't win that battle, it may be a Millwall throw-in. Tensions are getting high now. The fans look like they're getting on their feet inside the stadium. In this game, did we deal with the change in the atmosphere on Sunday, John, against Derby? Because it looks like now the atmosphere is getting involved in this game.
Yeah, but the Derby fans went flat. Were at their sort of flattest at the start of the second half. With going in 2-1 and being sort of stronger at the end of the first half against Derby, the Millwall fans were at their quietest towards the start of the second half. It was when that second goal came in, which was entirely due to two massive mistakes from Jack Stacey and a wonderful bit of skill from Lawrence. That was when the crowd got going again. And we never got back into the game after that moment. In this game, no, that's nothing to do with the atmosphere as I'm concerned. It was the fact that Millwall made a change and Bournemouth didn't deal with it. Like I said, the player that's only just come on, it's a fantastic bit of play from decision from their manager to make that change, but they had to get themselves into the game more, play two up front, and we didn't deal with it. We didn't deal with the long ball, and that's all it was. It was route one, and it wasn't good enough from the Bournemouth defence.
Millwall throwing down their left-hand side, down Jack Stacey's side. Thanks for joining us on this live watch-along. Please hit the like button. Let's see if we can get to 50 likes. We'll really appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And a ball comes in by Millwall deep. Mark Travers again doesn't want to take it. He punches it out for a Millwall corner. And Millwall are on the front foot in this game. We were comfortable at 1-0, but it's currently 1-1. Millwall have almost taken their first chance on target. They've made substitutes. They're trying to get involved. There's a chance here for Millwall. It's in the box.
Offside, clear offside.
The linesman has given it offside, and that's the time for us to regroup. Now we need to think about what we potentially do. We don't want to expose ourselves. We don't want to make ourselves open, John, but maybe we look at someone. When does Emi Marcondes play football for AFC Bournemouth if it doesn't happen in moments like this?
Well, it should have been against Derby because Philip Billing was vacant for the entire match, and it would have been nice to have an 11th player on the pitch. But
so why though? Why is he not coming on the pitch when we've got injuries, players suspended, and we're 71 minutes in? He's not a world beater, but he's a player that we've seen, John. We saw him at Hull. He floats around picking pockets up. I'm not saying he's got the quality all the time, but he does offer something different. We brought him into the club. He scored the winner for Brentford on the way to their promotion. When's he going to play football? If he doesn't play now, when does he play?
And like I would say if he hadn't played at Derby, he's never going to play because, I mean, he did come on against Preston when we were throwing absolutely everything at them in our 1-0-9 formation. But because the thing is, Marcondes is just basically a Billing substitute in terms of that position, and Christie is the favoured player in that spot. If you're going to take Christie off, then Marcondes comes on, and considering how infrequently Ryan Christie actually finishes 90 minutes, there is a distinct possibility that Marcondes could come on. The other option is you take Jamal Lowe off, put Christie on the right hand side, and you move Marcondes in the middle. But Jamal Lowe is our second striker when we're looking for the winner. So you can't take him off if you're going to want to play a 4-4-2 later on. It's a conundrum for Parker to have to deal with, but that's why he's paid the big bucks to make the big decisions.
Trying to make something happen now down the right hand side with Jack Stacey and Jamal Lowe doesn't quite happen. Lose possession with Millwall in their own half. Christie pressing. But the referee's
Jamal Lowe takes out his man, being too aggressive.
To Millwall down the left-hand side. There are 17 minutes to go, plus injury time in this game. It is Millwall 1, AFC Bournemouth 1. It is also Barnsley 0, Swansea 0, Blackburn 4, Peterborough 0, Bristol City 1, Stoke City 0, Cardiff 0, Hull City 1, Fulham drawing as well 0-0. This game 1-1, QPR 0, Huddersfield 0. Millwall trying to attack now. There is potential break on with 4 players getting forward. Christie looking for a switch. Too direct, too straight, through to the goalkeeper. And there was a chance.
Yeah,
Loaded with players running forward, John. Just that wrong pass. I don't even know if he needed to make a diagonal. He probably could have gone short and kept the play moving.
As soon as he just makes the decision to cut back, he has to go for that long pass, and he just doesn't pull it off, unfortunately. But he was miles off when attempting to put that long pass in.
Is this enough then, John? Because West Brom dropped points at the weekend, didn't capitalise. West Brom dropped points last night. We've got to capitalise. Over a season, we do not, and we know as Bournemouth fans we have done, do not want to look back in 46 games going, we lost at Derby. And I know Derby played well. I'm not disputing the fact that they deserved the win, but we dropped points at Millwall at times when we really could have put the heat on.
Yeah, but it's away at Millwall is not going to be that game. As much as I agree with you that it's easy to look back on any games that we play and say, well, we lost points here, we should have done better there. And that's certainly going to be the case when we're a team that are fighting to go up automatically. And at this point, we're expecting to go up automatically. There's no, at the start of the season, we would have said, automatic would be fantastic, but it's playoffs that we're looking for. Now we are well and truly expecting to go up automatically, but it's away at Peterborough and away at Hull that we'll look back and say we didn't do enough on. If you had said before the start of today, a 1-1 draw, would you take a 1-1 draw away at Millwall? Majority of fans would be happy with that, I would imagine, because they know what it's like to go to Millwall. Ignore our result from last season, because I think it is different when the fans aren't in. I think if we leave with a 1-1 draw, then that's good enough. We are only looking now really to just stay above West Brom and Coventry if they're gonna push as well, rather than necessarily wanting to keep up with Fulham, who at the moment are drawing as well, I believe. Still, they haven't gone ahead. Yeah,
free kick to Millwall. Free kick to Millwall in the 76th minute. Just take it here, John, with Jed Wallace over the ball. Swings the cross in, headed out. There was a couple of Bournemouth players involved with that heading. Jeff Lerma was trying to win it. Back in by Millwall. Another headed clearance by Mepham this time. Lewis Cook retrieves and gives away. And then Leif Davis wins. Christie trying to battle 50-50. Millwall defenders gone down on the sideline. 50-50. Gary Rowett's trying to say to him, get on with it. It's a competitive game. 76 minutes gone, 50 seconds. And it's Swansea 1, Barnsley 0. They are not having a good season, Barnsley. Made the playoffs last season. This season, they're right down in the bottom of the table. And Swansea have taken the lead in that game. 1-0 to the Swans.
Frustrating again. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. It's a Millwall free kick. Long ball into the box. Dealt with by Cahill. Headed back in and cleared again by Leif Davis. Ball ends up to Christie, who swings it right. And again, there are counter-attacking opportunities here from these Millwall free kicks. Now Millwall on the attack down the left-hand side. The player cuts in, takes the shot, and it flies over.
Travers sees it all the way.
He dives as well, but dive for the cameras, that one probably. Really nice bit of skill from the Millwall player, actually. That goes past Stacey far too easily, though. But that's like the third or fourth time this half that we've had Millwall have taken a free kick. It's not been a great free kick. We've dealt with it well. Like I said, we've got a good defensive record this season, and it's partly due to us dealing with with set pieces so well. Look at who's coming on, and look who's coming off. Who did we both mention? Jamal Lowe has just been substituted off for Emi Marcondes, which will push Ryan Christie onto the right-hand side, I would imagine. But yeah, there was another counter-attacking opportunity there. Lewis Cook had the ball at his feet for 3 seconds and doesn't play a ball and gets tackled. So, we need to be doing more from these counter-attacking opportunities. There's definitely something that could happen, but just the pass isn't being played quickly enough and the right pass isn't being chosen. And it's frustrating because we've definitely got the players to make a lot of counter-attacking chances. They're just not doing enough with it.
if Bournemouth are going to win, if Bournemouth are going to win this game, it's going to have to come late. But when they are giving away cheap free kicks just outside their own box, it's not going to help the situation. It's a free kick to Millwall. Marcondes is on this pitch. He gets football for AFC Bournemouth again. And it's going to be another free kick to Millwall that Bournemouth are going to need to defend with 70 minutes and 18 seconds on the clock. Lowe is off, confirmed by Paul, and George also says, completely agree with John, would have been happy with playoffs at the start of the year, but now if we don't make automatics, that'll be a massive disappointment. And I went for fourth. We both agreed with fourth, didn't we, John, pre-season?
We did, yes.
But yeah, when you get yourselves in this position, you have to take it. There might be another goal in the Championship as well at Loftus Road. We're going there just after Christmas, but there's a chance here for Millwall to put the ball in the box, headed away by Bournemouth. Millwall collect it outside the box, and the ref is given offside. So there is a goal at Loftus Road. QPR have taken the lead through Luke Amos in the 81st minute. More goals in the Championship this evening, John. More action happening in this second half. Are the Cherries? They've got 10 minutes. Are we going to win this game?
Well, I mean, that'd be nice, but it's not essential. Playing about the back a bit too much there. That was close. Just trying to look at our shape now, and no, it's because it's Jaden Anthony's playing a bit more centrally there. It's still interesting, actually. We do have Marcondes playing. Marcondes are playing left-hand side of the attacking midfield. Nice ball over the top, but Benikovic has been flagged offside. I do think it's probably going to be Christie playing on right wing, but he's very narrow at the moment. It looks more like he's playing alongside Dominic Solanke at the moment. But we'll see how that progresses, because Gary Cahill is really quite central. And I'm wondering if we're not playing in a back three. I thought we might have been, but
Jack Stacey wide. Jack Stacey trying to take on the fullback, loses the ball in attempting, wins it back, swivels, turns. Ryan Christie now playing his sort of usual position he's played for Bournemouth. Right, space here for Anthony. Poor touch. Out with Ryan Christie. Ryan Christie, unintentionally, the ball fell at Christie's feet after Anthony tried to get the ball under control, come off the Millwall defender. Christie probably could have had a touch, went for a first-time shot, scuffed it, nothing on it. And that was a chance for us to get a shot on target. And it's now back with Leif Davis with a throw-in in our own half. That's disappointing. And a chance, John.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Christie probably could have taken 3 touches. He was in quite a lot of space right in the right corner of the penalty box. But it's just deflected off someone. The ball's spinning like mad, and he tries to hit it first time and completely fluffs his lines. When we were actually in a half-decent position there, if he'd just taken the touch. But Jaden Anthony there had gone central and taken quite a nice position. His first touch was horrible. It does look like maybe Lerma. Actually, no, I think we are playing. Yeah, we are playing a back three. Jefferson Lerma's playing a right centre-back.
He has gone wide. Marcondes.
No, he's gone deep.
Deep and more right than central.
Yeah, he's playing at right centre back. Oh, lovely from Marcondes there. It's difficult. It's almost difficult to tell it's Marcondes. He's got more of a Danjuma haircut on him now. He's puffed up a little bit. He's starting to put an afro together. Lovely bit of skill, a lovely bit of trickery to get himself away from the defender. Wins a good foul. But yeah. I think we are playing a back three. I think Stacey's playing at right wing back or right mid. Anthony at left mid, or Davis at left wing. Sorry, I don't know. It's difficult to tell. The players aren't really necessarily in a structured position at the moment that I'm used to. But we've got a free kick in attacking position with Jaden Anthony and Ryan Christie over the ball. See if we can make anything of this.
Chance for Bournemouth. Anthony swings it in, just about clears the first man. No one could get a good touch on it in the centre of the box. Back with Bournemouth, though. Chance for Marcondes. 20 yards out. Left foot. Hit the Millwall defender. Now Millwall have turned the ball over. It's with a Phobe. Just inside his own half. They're looking to counter-attack, but the Cherries have got themselves back into positions. that they need. Game has slowed down now. Millwall keeping the ball. Bournemouth are looking to counter Anthony. Like John said, it's gone a little bit more central. There is definitely a shape change here. Leave Davis in control of the ball. Big shout out to Ethan, who's finished his football training. And he's joining us for this last 6 minutes with 84 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock. Hope you had a good training session, Ethan. Get behind the team. Can we get a winner in the last 5 or 6 minutes? Swansea, they've taken a 2-0 lead through Jamie Patterson. Barnsley's night goes from bad to worse, and they're still going to be deep in trouble in this championship. And how's the away support chant? Not sure, Stephen. Sound is on silent, but I'm sure the Cherries are getting behind them. 1,500 are there, and it's currently a free kick to Bournemouth just inside Millwall's half with Gary Cahill. Now we're in that position now, John. Long from Cahill here, just bear with me. We're in that sort of time zone now, John, where do we go for the winner? Do we stick with what we got? With Afobe breaking forward here, gets behind Leif Davis, cuts left, looking for the winner, looks to square it, second chance to square it. And that is a great clearance by Jeff Lerma with the Millwall striker behind him, pretty much having an open goal if Jeff didn't clear that.
That was an incredible interception from Jefferson Lerma. They got very lucky there. Afobe gets behind because Mepham slips. As he's getting back up, Mepham catches up with Afobe, who cuts back onto his left foot, tries to set someone up. It deflects off Gary Cahill and lands back to Afobe, who crosses it in. Perfect, absolutely, for someone to just tap that into the back of the net because it's an open goal, and Lerma slides in and somehow nicks the ball away from the defender and also doesn't put it for a corner, puts it for a throw-in. However, balls come in, game carries on, and now it has gone for a Millwall corner from a Lerma tackle again.
Nervous moments for the Cherries. 1-1, and we're defending a corner that's going to be taken by Jed Wallace. Ball comes in very high, back post, challenged, won by the Cherries. Christie now has it, but he's still deep in his own box with his back to goal. Uses his body, battles, cleared by Chris Mepham in the end. Challenge in the air, lost. And Millwall are back on attack now down the right-hand side. It's Ojo looking to take on. He's got a ball in the box. Dangerous. Who's there again? It's Jeff Lerma. Diving header. And that's gone out for another corner. Jeff Lerma throwing his body on the line, John. 6 minutes or so to go with injury time.
Yep, Jeff Lerma doing his job as the centre-back now. Another quick corner from Millwall, though. Shea Ojo on the ball. He dinks it into the middle of the goal. And, whoa, it's just gone wide. That was another good chance there.
Swans cast.
They're
currently winning 2-0 the Swans. Sorry, John. 2-0 the Swans there at Barnsley. How are we getting on? We're 1-1, and it's nervous moments. We were winning 1-0, but this game is finally balanced. Sorry, John.
I was just saying it's not the greatest game for us at the moment because we're kind of holding on at the moment. It's been all Millwall for the last 10 minutes. Marcondes has had a little bit of an impact since coming on, won a free kick for us and had a few nice touches, but we haven't really got ourselves forward enough. This change in shape. Lewis Cook trying to slide the ball through there for Jack Stacey and just not putting in a decent enough ball forward there.
Still trying to find out or work out why we needed a formation change. I might need to think about it for another couple of minutes, but Jack Stacey's definitely playing a lot higher up, and this is at 1-1, not losing the game. I understand the substitutes. I get them. Ball in the box from Millwall, deep, overhit. They've done that a few times this evening. Now Jack Stacey does have the ball, plays it down the line, looking for Dom Solanke, who doesn't get ahead of the defender. We lose it again. Jeff Lerma challenging Jack Stacey again, and we've given away a Millwall throw-in. Do we need to make the actual shape change, John? I get the subs, and I agree with the subs. I'm just not sure I'm agreeing with the shape. I don't understand why we had to unsettle that.
Well, just bear with that as Millwall on the attack. They have the ball in our box, but the ball's deflected away to Cahill, who puts the ball forward, and Dominic Solanke wins a free kick rather. I think what Parker wanted to do, because what Parker has consistently tried to do when we're looking to get the win or get back into a game, is he likes to go 2 up top with Lowe and Solanke. But he felt as though Lowe needed to come off. He hadn't had much of an impact on the game. Maybe he's getting a bit tired. And in order to have that front two, he needs to have Christie up front with him, which is an interesting haul again, because Christie's played Christie's played the full match now. And to have a front two there, but to also have a man on the right-hand side, he feels as though he needs to have a back three, because Stacey's the man that's going to be playing further up. So what you have is Lerma dropping into the right centre-back position. And you've got Marcondes and Cook that are playing as the double pivot at the moment. And then you've got Anthony on the left-hand side and Christie and Solanke up front, with Christie allowed to roam a little bit more. Well, actually, no, I say that because you've got Leif Davis that's playing as the left wing back, and Anthony is able to play on the left hand side as well. So you've still basically got a front three, but I just feel Christie's playing much narrower. Christie's playing a lot closer to Solanke, whereas Anthony is staying a lot further left. So it's odd that most of our attacks since this formation change have come down the right hand side. We haven't actually made anything of this man advantage that we're trying to force on the left. So yeah, I'm a bit confused by this very lopsided 3-4-3 that we're playing. But I don't think it's necessarily helped us at all, apart from defensively.
We've got 4 extra minutes added in this game. We've got 50 viewers currently watching this stream. Please hit the like button. Can we get to 50 likes? And Sammy's joining the party at 1-1. Millwall 1, AFC Bournemouth 1. Thanks for joining us late for this game. Stay with us. Please don't go away at full time, because we are hoping to bring you some post-match reaction, some guests. We might potentially go live to the Den again and get that reaction from the Cherries fans, with Morgan Rogers prepared to come on with 3 minutes to go, and he's coming on for Jaden Anthony. Not sure about that one. I don't see what potentially Morgan Rogers is going to do in 3 minutes, let alone 13.
That's quite scathing, but he hasn't really had much of an impact when he has been playing in games, to be fair.
Maybe a bit harsh. Maybe.
But he's on the ball now. He's already dribbled past one, and he gets the corner. He gets the throw in off the right wing back. He's got it in him to have an impact in a match, because he's a good dribbler. You see that when he was on loan in League One last season. But yeah, he's not really had the opportunity to make too much of an impact as well. He's only started one game, and that was against Peterborough, and the whole team wasn't really going at it in that match. But we'll see. There's only 2 minutes and 8 seconds left, as Millwall are on the attack again with Afobe down the right hand side going up against Mepham. He plays the ball back into the middle, and it's a shot that gets sliced well wide.
Mark Travers goes to get the ball.
17.
2 minutes to go. And we're going to see this 2 minutes out with you. George has said, come on, the Cherries. Come on, Rogers. Can he make an impact? Abby says, all right, Rogers, time to show your stuff and your magic. Can you get a goal for the Cherries? Can we get a win? Or do we take a draw away from the Den this evening and move on to Coventry on Saturday at home, which will definitely have to be a must-win? But with West Brom dropping points last night, Fulham, I think, are still drawing at home to Derby.
Oh, no, that's ridiculous. The referee's just given a foul against Rogers for there, and I really don't think there was any contact at all. And the Millwall players bought that completely. And unfortunately, what looked like might be a decent counter-attack there. Yeah, I mean, that's an awful dive. And the referee's bought it hook, line and sinker, which allows Millwall one last chance to punt the ball into the box as well from the halfway line. That was a shame, because it was a half-decent counter-attack opportunity there. And Millwall play the ball long. Lewis Cook going up against their striker, who does very well to force the cross to not be a good one. Travers hits the ball long, and you've got Solanke going up against their centre-back. He does well, wins us a throw-in. 30 seconds left on the right-hand side.
I'm going to see this out with you, John. This might be the last chance of this game. Jack Stacey has a throw-in down the right. He goes back to Jeff Lerma. We need to go forward, not backwards. It's with Rogers. Marcondes, sorry. Now with Stacey. He's looking for options. There is no options. And he gives away.
Absolutely awful. But it doesn't
Poor
help
touch.
that he's... First throw goes back to Lerma, and it's just get it forward quicker, get it into a better position. Marcondes plays the right pass, but then you need to put the ball in the box. Everyone's in the box. No one's waiting for the short pass. Stacey's looking for a short pass. Don't know what he's doing. But that should be, and it is, the final whistle.
That is full time at the Den. And that is Millwall 1, AFC Bournemouth 1. We're going to get reaction to this game in just a moment. We'll take a look at those full-time stats. It was a Dom Solanke goal in the first half, just before half-time, 44th minute, gave the Cherries a lead. First shot on target. But the second half, Millwall grew into the game. Afobe got behind our centre-backs a few times, and in the second time he did it, he took his finish well. And don't you go anywhere, because we got match reaction coming your way. We're going to get some raw reaction, some thoughts from some Cherries fans. We may even go live to the Den. But let's take a look, shall we, at those stats for this game. And let's have a look at where we are at. Millwall 1, Bournemouth 1. We have got 52% possession to AFC Bournemouth, 48% to Millwall. 8 shots for Millwall, 9 shots for Bournemouth. 3 on target for the Cherries, 1 on target for the Millwall. And that's all they needed, was 1 to get the equaliser. 6 corners, 2 Millwall, 2 to the Cherries. Passes 429 to the Cherries and 380 passes to Millwall. 17 tackles and 16 to the Cherries. Even in some of the stats, even tonight in this fixture. We're going to come back very, very soon in the next minute or so. And we're going to get some match reaction. We're going to go straight to the Den as well, very, very quickly. We'll see you in just 1 minute. Don't you go anywhere. Let's not waste any time, shall we? Let's go straight to the Den. He went for 2-1. It wasn't 2-1. It was 1-1. Steve, can you hear us?
Hello, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I'm
Raw
not the best
reaction to that result? 1-1.
Well, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, mate. 'Cause my battery's on 5%. But in my opinion, if you think Scott Parker's going to get us promoted with that sort of shit, excuse my language, it's not going to happen. That was turgid. We shouldn't have. There's no way we should be losing or drawing these games. Derby, Preston. I've seen enough in the last 4 games to think that this is. There's more to it than that. We said we had squad depth. We haven't got squad depth. If we can't fill the holes when a couple of injuries come along, we ain't gonna stay up there for too long. This is go on. Say what you want to say.
Is it not a good point though? Potentially, I mean, I know you've just literally full-time whistles gone. That's very, very raw reaction.
It's very raw reaction, mate.
In the morning.
And yes, I would. A point you could say is great against a Millwall away with, but let's be honest. I mean, we've got a good squad. We've got a good team there, and they can't. I mean, what do we create really? What do we create at all in that game? I mean, not being honest, not being funny, but I thought Lewis Cook was probably the best player we had on the pitch tonight, and that says a lot because he's hardly had any football, and we just couldn't create anything. We couldn't create anything against Millwall, and they were absolutely rubbish. To be fair, in fact we were hanging on in the end of that game. Let's be fair.
But if we put it away on Saturday and we beat Coventry 3 or 4-1, It won't be all bad, will it?
Well, yeah, it's if that's the maybes, mate. But I've seen enough. Like I said, I've seen enough in the last 4 or 5 matches to say that I don't think Scott Parker's got enough about him. I didn't fancy him at the outset. He's done all right to start with, but so did Jason Tyndall. And look what happened there. I personally think that we're not as good as we think we are. And again, tonight goes to show that I don't think we really have that X factor about us to go and win a game, to go and impose ourselves on the game. When fair play to Millwall, they were decent, and they put themselves about us, and we didn't know how to cope with it. It's like Saturday or Sunday, sorry. You know, Derby did the same. They put themselves about us, and we didn't know how to handle it. And you know, we've got 1 or 2 injuries in the back 4.
He's even sideways now.
Oh, I've gone.
He's gone. He's absolutely gone.
He's gone.
Let's bring Keith into the room. It's very raw reaction. Full-time whistle's gone. I wanted 6 points out of 6. We're going to have to go after 4 out of 6, though, Keith. But it's happened before this season. We haven't held on to leads of late, and we have conceded in the second half for the 2nd consecutive game, 1-1.
But it's not FIFA, is it? This remind ourselves, it's not FIFA, and this is a football. It's what I expected in the midweek game at Millwall. They played exactly what they did last season against us. So, you know, the point is, I think, a fairly decent point, all considering. But what Steve might be alluding to, maybe he'll think about it when he calms down, is that the second half we sort of like were lofting aimless balls, long balls, and that's just allowing them with 2. They changed to a 4-4-2. They put 2 big target men at the top. We weren't pressing as much, and we sort of like were sitting in the midfield a lot more. And of course, you're inviting on pressure, and they're going to just try and hit their target men, and that's exactly what they did. You're inviting that pressure on. So it's not necessarily Cahill and Mepham at fault. It's the aimless long balls rather than, right, let's try and control it. Let's have a little bit of possession and be patient rather than trying to rush it. And Christie and Davis were particularly guilty in that second half for these aimless long passes. And if you're going to give away the ball, you're going to invite pressure on. And that's what happened tonight. But a little bit lack of guile, lack of thinking about it. Yeah, what do you expect?
Stephen says this is a blip. All teams go through it
Absolutely.
in the season. No need to panic, and no need to panic, Max. No time to sell the club. Not just yet. We are still in the top 2 places. Let's go back, John. Let's try and review those goals. Not a lot of chances. We spoke about it in the first half live, and Dom came alive in the box. It was one of those corners, like you said, that we've worked before. And no push, potentially a push, but Dom Solanke was alert, got the goal, and we went in 1-0, and it was a good time to score.
Yeah, and you know, within the last couple of minutes, the first half, fantastic time to score. And the thing is, what that really should do is give you an opportunity to say, right, that's kind of maybe a little bit of luck. Maybe, you know, we got the rub of the green in that instance. We didn't necessarily deserve to go in 0-0, but we have something to build on. And while the first sort of 10, 15 minutes of the second half, I think, suited us, the game opened up considerably, and we've got the better defensive record. We've got the more solid structure defensively, I think, than what Millwall, you know, had in that instance. Because for the next 10 minutes, or first 10 minutes of the second half, it was, you know, any time Millwall got the ball and tried to pass it forward, we were on it immediately. The press was there. We were winning the ball back, and we were looking like we could make something, but the final pass wasn't there. And in the instance, maybe there was a final pass. There was that one time Dominic Solanke got into the box on his left foot, takes a bad first touch, gets it caught between his legs, and ends up with a really good sliding tackle from a centre-back to stop him from getting a good shot away. But there wasn't really enough going on in the second half to actually produce the final opportunity. There were only 2 shots on target in the second half, both from Ryan Christie, and both were p-rollers down the keeper's throat. We didn't make the actual chances in the end in the second half, as much as there were maybe moments. But and then there were some things that you can look at in the second half that were good, but it was far too much holding on towards the end. The end of that first half and the goal was the high point of our match for the most part. We just weren't really at it for most of that game. There were good moments, but there wasn't anything consistent enough in the game. And I do think that sort of like Lerma playing a little bit, ending up playing in the back three towards the end of that match, really affected how much control we could have in the center of the pitch. And admittedly, Lerma was absolutely vital in making sure that we didn't concede more goals, because he put in a couple of good defensive clearances in the box and one incredible tackle to prevent a tap into the back post. But I feel as though Parker's change was just to ensure that we got the point, rather than really give us the bedrock to actually push on to get the 3 points. And that has been his style. That's been Parker's style. 2-0 up. Let's just rest on that. 1-1. It's a good point. Let's make sure we leave with the point. And I think that's probably a good call away at Millwall. I think Steve is maybe a little bit letting his heart rule his head a bit too much, saying, God, Millwall were rubbish. They weren't. They were better than us for a long period of that match. And yes, we weren't fantastic, but you have to give some respect to your opposition and say that, at the end of the day, you take a point at the Den. You really would. When they come to our place, that's where I hope we actually go on and force the issue and take the 3. But it wasn't the greatest game.
We were 1-0 up though into that second half then, Keith, and the game was sort of opening up at one point, and there were chances for counters. We didn't quite capitalise on that, poor in possession, trying to counter in 3s and 4s. And then there was a question that I was asked earlier on today, Keith, in that whoever played in that back line alongside Cahill, Steve Cook, was there enough pace there? Now, Afobe started to grow into the game. There was a few chances for him to get behind Mepham, in between Mepham and Cahill. Then on about the second or third attempt, he did. Cahill didn't have the legs this time. Afobe can finish. We did see him finish at times for AFC Bournemouth. Not enough, but he did put it away and he equalised for them. Is that a concern that when we've got no Lloyd Kelly, we have no pace?
No, what's the concern is we're not defending from the front. If you keep lofting balls aimlessly and you allowing them to come back to us, you're immediately putting pressure on that back line. Where we've been solid defensively was we defend as a team. The first defender is Dom. When he presses, he's not allowing them out, and then obviously they're rushing the ball, and then they give it, and that's how it should be. If you're allowing teams to come onto you, if you're giving them possession, you're not looking after the ball properly, then you're going to put pressure on your back line, irrespective of who's in there. And that's so. Yeah, Afobe got in behind, and obviously Gary's not the quickest of cats. Neither Steve Cook, neither Stephen Robsey. They're good, solid defenders, all of them. And Kelly, we're fortunate in Kelly; he's a good sweeper. But it's all about looking after the ball. And we didn't, after that 15 minutes John was talking about. We just kicking it away, not putting our foot on it, and just say, let's slow the tempo down. Let's just keep it amongst ourselves and draw them on, and then we can get in behind them again. But it's that lack of guile, lack of thinking about it. So it's not the two centre backs per se. It's a big ball in, and Naps misses the flick on, and then obviously Afobe is on the right side of Cahill. But we should never be in that position in the first place. And John's pointed out something really interesting. The moment Lerma comes out of that midfield and we go into that 3, then you're losing control and conceding the midfield, and that's meat and drink for teams. They're particularly if they're schooled, their tails are up. They're going to think, right, and we're sitting. We get deeper and deeper and deeper. We saw it at Hull. We've seen it and Preston as well. We need to be getting at them, not being pragmatic. And but there's pragmatism, which is a really strange thing, because the 4-3-3 that he sets up is all about attacking. But he seems to, does he not have the confidence, or is this the crab ball that Fulham fans were pointing out to us?
Steve's disappointed. I'm sure there's going to be a few more in that 1500, John, that are disappointed not to win. Alan says we missed Ben Pearson tonight. And Abby says Lerma's man the match. And when we think about potentially drawing that game as a disappointment, Lerma made a great interception in the second half to stop the Millwall attacker getting onto an empty goal. And we could have lost this game 2-1. Yeah,
without a doubt. It was, they got a little bit of luck with that one, because as much as Afobe got past, Mepham slipped up, which allowed literally he slipped, which allowed Afobe to get past him. Mepham caught up, and then Afobe's poor cross ends up deflecting back to him, which allows him to put a ball to the back post. And without Lerma, that is definitely a 2-1 loss. So.
John looks
Millwall
like
again, isn't it?
He's in Millwall, isn't he?
He's at Millwall.
We'll just let John catch up. We'll come back to you in a moment, John. And let's just take a look at those other championship results and see what that's done to the table this evening. More goals this evening than there was yesterday. It was Barnsley 0, Swansea 2, Blackburn 4, Peterborough 0. Ben Brereton had another good evening. Bristol City 1, Stoke City 0. Bristol City don't win many games at home, but they have this evening. Cardiff City in good form 0, Hull City 1, Fulham 0, Derby 0. That's 4 points. Derby have taken off the top two in just as many days. Millwall 1, Bournemouth 1, and QPR looking for playoffs as well. They've beaten Huddersfield this evening 1-0. So we'll take a look at what that's done to the championship table this evening. The Cherries had a chance to open up the gap again. They didn't. They also had a chance to go top. We didn't. It's Fulham at the top, 42 points, 19 played. AFC Bournemouth, 41 points in second. Playoffs are made up of West Brom, QPR, Coventry and Stoke. And our opponents this evening, Millwall, they stay exactly where they are on 27 points with a goal difference of 0. Score as many goals as they concede. But I did say to you earlier on in the stream, Keith, that is it a problem that we've maybe got one eye on West Brom and these opportunities that are opening up to get away from them and we're not taking it? Are we going to regret it?
Are they opportunities? I think you have to respect who you play. And John's perfectly right. Millwall weren't awful tonight. They played to their game plan, and the second half they play to their strengths, of course. So you take the opportunities where you can, of course, but every game is tough. And now we're into the winter, and let's see where we are in February before we start thinking this is going right. And remember, we brought Scott Parker in, not expecting to be in this position. So it is what it is. We're still well in the hunt.
See, that's why I get you on, Keith, because you bring reality back to us when we.
But you've got to be realistic. As I say, I think too many people think this is FIFA we're playing, not football, and or Football Manager. It's football, and it's human beings, and they make mistakes, and they make wrong decisions. And the opposition they're not going to have their roll over and have their tummies tickled. They're out to knock us off our perch. And too many people think it's HMS Pistol League, off we go because we're the greatest. No, we've got to win every point that we get. And tonight we didn't lose. And that's really important, that we don't lose too many games this season. We keep ticking those points over. Let's see where we are at the end. But all the highs and lows of football, I know we're all fickle, but it's too many people playing FIFA out there and forgetting that it's people, not pixels.
Not me. My son just beats me when I play FIFA, so I stopped playing.
I'm terrible at it, mate.
Stephen says JC, Stanislas, Pearson, Kelly, Brooks, Billing, etc. Also no Brady. 6 weeks at the club, still can't get up to match fitness. but we still got a point. But we move on then, John, to Coventry on Saturday, a team that are enjoying the ride, as it looks like. I'm sure they didn't expect this. They've got a manager in Mark Robbins who's had over 200 games for Coventry now as manager. They're playing very well. They've got the likes of Callum O'Hare, who's adding assists to his game, maybe not enough goals. And they've got someone like Cherries, who scored 9 goals this season. I am concerned with one thing, and I will come back to that in just a moment. I'll tell you what, let's just go live to the den again, shall we? And let's see if we can bring in another Cherries fan. Hopefully he's a little bit more upbeat. Let's bring Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You? Can you hear me all right?
The voice of reason now.
Right, Matt.
I don't know about that.
You joined me on the match preview a few days ago. We both were looking for 6 points. We're going to have to try and take 4 and beat Coventry on Saturday. It took us 44 minutes to get a shot on target, which we took, but we didn't put another game to bed.
No, we didn't. We didn't deserve to win the game, did we? Let's be honest. Overall, it was lack of physicality showed. I thought we said pre-match, Kirk, didn't we? Maybe it was a game for Steve Cook. Maybe it was a game for Ben Pearson. Clearly, I don't know what's wrong with Ben Pearson. Maybe he's not fit enough, but we didn't show enough physicality. We didn't show enough desire. I thought they bossed us in the midfield for the majority of the game. Fully deserved their point. I thought we got the goal out of nothing, really. I couldn't see a goal coming for us. But we managed to get one right on half-time. Great time to score. But second half, we didn't kick on. They did. They stayed in the game. They stayed with it. And I thought they were, overall, they fully deserved their point. Fully deserved their point, at least. So disappointing, really.
There were spaces on that pitch in the second half, though, Matt. Ryan Christie is a very talented player. He's got 5 assists for us this season. What he is lacking is a goal. And he did get himself into some good positions, shots. Why are we not getting that second goal tonight?
Yeah, just the final ball at times when we did get into the positions, and Christie was guilty of that. He got into some good positions himself, and even a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, he had the chance to get a decent effort away, and he just didn't do it, did he? So all in all, I mean, we take the point. It's not a bad point. I mean, it's a tough place to come, this. So it's not a disaster, is it? It's a decent point. I think we just got to ride this period we're in now. Bad defeat on Sunday. Yeah, we've got to ride this period that we're going through at the moment, and we're still 8 points clear of third. So it's not a disaster by any means, but overall it was probably a fair result tonight.
Hopefully your signal stays with us, Matt. Looks like you're on the train on the way home. What was the atmosphere like tonight? When we went ahead, but more importantly, what was the atmosphere like when we were drawing and later on, maybe when Jeff Lerner cleared that ball? Was it nervousness between the Cherries fans? Was there frustration? We're live. We are live, and it looks like we've lost Matt. Not for the first time tonight.
It's in the black hole known as Croydon, Kirky.
Shame. Matt's got a very serious face. I'm going to take him out. It's scaring me a bit. Unfortunately, we lost Matt there. Oh, he's smiling now. See if we can get him back quickly. Are you back, Matt?
I am.
I can hear you. You have frozen on the screen, but quickly, what was the atmosphere like in the stadium from the Cherries' point of view? Was there excitement when we scored, and then was there nervousness and frustrations maybe at the end?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere wasn't too bad. It was, I think we had a good turnout, probably about 1,700 of us there, 1,600. But I've known it better, I must be honest. It was a little bit flat at times. And the team on the pitch reflected that a little bit. They didn't really encourage a great atmosphere, to be honest. I thought Millwall grew into the game, and their fans were getting behind them as the game went on. Even at 1-0 down, they stuck with them and they got behind them. When they got the equaliser, it was always going to be Benik Afobe, wasn't it, that tucked in the equaliser. Got the wrong side of. It's probably the first time I've seen anybody get the wrong side of Cahill this season, but Benik did that and he finished it well. He got a great reception, to be fair, Benik, which was really from the Bournemouth fans, which was really pleasing. He clapped us first half and got a great reception. We were singing his name, which I thought was a nice touch, but he come back to haunt us second half, and he took his goal well. To be fair.
Brilliant. Great to see you, Matt. We're going to let you get on. You're intact. Get home safely. You're wearing a better coat than Scott Parker did tonight. And thanks for joining us on this watch along.
Yeah. All day long, mate. All day long. Good to see you
later.
guys.
Safe trips.
See you later, Matt.
We're going to stay on for just another 5 or 10 minutes. We'll close this show out. Please make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to Cherries Red Army if you're new to the channel as well. We're sponsored by our good friends at 6 Yards Out. Make sure you visit them at www.6yardsout.com. Get the ultimate retro football gift. John, Coventry on Saturday. I want to see us start with a better tempo. I'm getting a bit tired of seeing us start slowly, because I think if we do take teams to the sword, we will put a lot of teams away, and we can save injuries and save legs later on in games.
I mean, that'd be nice, but Coventry are fourth for a reason. As much as we struggle against Derby, we struggle against Millwall. This is the best side that we played in the last few weeks. When was the last time we played a side that was sort of at the kind of form and ability that Coventry are? Stoke was probably the last game, maybe arguably Huddersfield, those 2 games in a row. That was the last time we've come against a side that's anywhere near as good as Coventry, and we've struggled against some of them. So I think one of the interesting points that, and it was certainly something that Jacob Tanswell put together a good article from some stats that were brought up on Twitter not long ago, was Lloyd Kelly's impact on the way that we build up, not defensively as much as he would have had an impact, I think, in regards to the goal that we conceded, because there was a little bit of a lack of organisation when they brought the second striker on, that allowed him the free header and the build up to their goal. But in terms of the build up play, Gary Cahill's very much just letting Mepham be the one that's the person that's got to try and bring the ball out and play the progressive pass. And because he's right footed and he's obviously coming sort of he's not able to open the pitch out. When he comes onto his right foot, the pitch closes on him and he's forced to come down the left hand side and play. Opposition teams aren't stupid. When Leif Davis gets the ball, Jaden Anthony comes deep, and then that's the key for them to completely swallow us up and press us, to push us back into our area. Whereas what Lloyd Kelly can do, not only is he a good dribbler of the ball and can take the ball out of defence, but he also has a really good long pass on him. It's one of the biggest attributes that he's got, is to just be able to ping the ball to the right winger from his position or over the top, as he's done historically. Mepham might actually be able to do that a bit more if he was played at the right. I brought this up earlier. I don't know why Mepham's being told to play on the left and Cahill on the right, when both of them have played on the other side of the pitch for their entire careers. Just because Cahill has played 5 games at right centre-back for Bournemouth doesn't mean he can't be switched to the left side again, and that will allow Mepham, who is decent on the ball — it's one of the reasons Eddie bought him, is because he's decent on the ball — to actually open the pitch out when he gets given the entire responsibility of playing the progressive pass from centre-back. And to help with that, we're going to need our midfield to impact more and to allow to give Mepham more options, because he's going to be forced to play left centre back unless they change it around to Steve Cook. And against Coventry, I don't think that's going to happen, because you're going to need the more mobile defender again. I don't know, he might change up the formation to allow for to possibly even go into a back 3 to allow for slightly better progression. But I do feel as though we're massively missing Lloyd Kelly, not so much defensively as people would assume, given that we've conceded 4 in the last 2 games, but actually as the way to build out from the back. So that needs to be changed up a little bit. And I do feel as though, as much as Leif Davis had a really good game against Swansea, he's a little bit of a weak link at the moment. Maybe not so much defensively again, as much as he does have a rush of blood to the head. But again, his passing isn't the greatest. His link-up play with Anthony isn't the greatest at the moment, but that needs game time to build into it. When Zamora was at left back, there was just a natural sync between those 2 players because they played in the youth system for so long. Christie again wasn't great today, and unfortunately, Billing wasn't great against Derby. Billing was practically non-existent against Derby. So we're going through just a phase at the moment with a couple of injuries, with some of the breaks up in the kind of patterns that we like to create. This is one of those blips in the season that was always going to happen. We were never going to go unbeaten during the whole season. So it's just about how we maintain some level of performance, how we push on into the next few games, and just don't capitulate like we did against Derby. Just make sure we stay in the game, make sure we try and create as much opportunities as possible. But if we keep this level of performance going, yes, if it lasts too long, then we might have some issues in terms of third place catching up to us. But we'll get out of this. When Billing finds form, when Chrissy finds his form again, when Kelly comes back, when Lewis Cook is match fit, we've still got players to come back in and have an impact. And this is just a phase. I think we're just going to have to try and get through at the moment.
Keith, then Saturday, early match preview thoughts, and we'll have a proper match preview coming to the channel in a few days' time. A couple of changes again. What does Scott Parker do to get a result against Coventry? Because surely it's a must-win now.
It's not a must-win, is it? It's not dropping points. Certainly, not losing is the important thing at the moment. We're not at the end of the season. We're still getting into the season. But I think John's absolutely right. I think it might be having to go to a back three with maybe Cookie as the deepest of the three defenders, and allowing also Mepham to play on his natural side would be quite a useful thing. And if Leif Davis, as I say, his passing wasn't so brilliant tonight, I don't know if Anthony could play as a wing back, but it might be worth having a look at. But no, this is all about managing expectations. And if you put pressure on yourself now, and things don't go right, are we going to go back to what we did with Jason, and then we go down with Woody again, and then we'll be back to square one again? People wanted Scott Parker in for a reason. And everyone understood it was a project, and everyone understood it was a long-term thing. Now, we've exceeded expectations in being in second, but it's a long way to go. I'd rather do it now than at the end of the season and do what Leeds did and just completely capitulate at the wrong end. So I think John's making some extremely intelligent points, and I think they're worth bearing in mind. But 1 minute we're unbeatable and we're going to beat Man City and win the Champions League. The next minute we're Accrington Stanley in the second division.
And if we've on the mention of a back three, I reckon we should come to the end of this watch along. That's been a great evening that I spent with you guys. We've had other guests come on as well, and the Cherries, at least they didn't lose, like you said. We'll just mention then that we've got a match preview coming for you on the channel, probably likely to be Friday. That'll be for Coventry's. Hit the notification bell, you'll be notified when the next video is out. Thank you to our sponsors for this watch along, 6 Yards Out. Make sure you go and check them out at www.6yardsout.com. You can get the ultimate football gift ahead of Christmas. You can even get a personalised Bournemouth mug. Just head over there and request what you're looking for. Also, thank you to our supporter members for that extra support that you put in. You can become a supporter member on Cherries Red Army. Just head over to buymeacoffee.com/Cherries Red Army for as little as £5 a month, or just a one-off donation is also appreciated. It really does help for covering our costs on the channel and improving the content. John, it's been a slog as always. It's been enjoyable. We've enjoyed it with the fans, but thanks for joining me again on this latest watch along.
Yeah, no problem. There'll be a good one at some point. Fingers crossed.
We're due one. Keith, always great to have your input as well. Thanks for coming on this evening.
Cheers, boys. It's been enjoyable.
Look after yourself, boys, in the next couple of days, and we've got commentary coming up. Thank you to you, the fans who have got involved this evening. Let us know your thoughts. Been very happy at moments. It's been struggling in other moments, but you've hit the like button. You've also subscribed if you're new to the channel, and we really appreciate it. Dom Solanke, he was on target again. He got his 15th goal of the league season. But Benik Afobe, he came back to haunt the Cherries. He was always going to, wasn't he? From me, John, Keith, and everyone else who's been on this watch along stream, look after yourselves. If you're going to Coventry, safe trip. Until the next video, we'll see you soon. Up the Cherries.